think it's just her.
There you go. Now I turned it on.
Where's head in here? I like
Test
on the
1,
floor.
2. Looks good.
We're live now. All right, council, it is 6:30 right now, and we are going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Let's go ahead and begin with a roll call. Paola.
Thank you. District one Alderwoman Ana Carrillo. Here. District two Alderman Richard Hughes.
Here.
District three Alderman David Emery.
Here.
District four Alderman Michael Rodriguez.
Here.
And District five Alderman Matthew Martinez.
Here.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you can please rise, we'll go ahead and take care of our pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Just moves as we walk by. All right. Thank you.
Don't feel things.
Building, street projects.
Don't feel things.
Yes, okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to item number 4, the citizens to be heard. This is the opportunity for citizens, visitors, and guests to address the city council on any issue, any item on the agenda in compliance with LGC section 551.007. City council may not discuss any presented issue, nor may any action be taken on any issue at this time. Citizens to be heard are limited to 3 minutes each. Attorney General Opinion, JC 0169. I don't see anybody scheduled to go ahead and speak, but I'll still ask. Is there anyone here to be heard? Going once, going twice. All right, no comments on there. All right, council, let's go ahead and move on to item number 5, open session, to take action on items discussed. A, consideration and possible action concerning the approval of the minutes from July the 13th, 2026.
Mayor, I'd like to start by making a motion to approve the minute.
Got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? Okay, discussion. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries forward. All yeas. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to B, consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 2632, the resolution of the City Council, City of Lytle, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of an agreement by and between the City of Lytle, Texas, and Kimberly Horn and Associates for individual project order number 25-13-005 regarding community center site renovations, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the city administrator to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement, and providing an effective date. Zach.
Mayor and council, if y'all recall last council meeting, we had this item on there. We discussed it. Council agreed to go ahead and table it and have the team from Kimberly Horn come here to discuss it a little further. They did provide, I can't recall if I sent it to you because I do believe it was right after the packet. So I do have the updated, of course. When I printed it, it was in red, but you can still see the stuff that was marked out on there. So, but I'll go ahead and give those copies to you here in a second. But I'll go ahead and introduce Blaine to you with Kimberly Horn, who's here to kind of go over that with you and discuss kind of any questions and concerns. I know there was a lot of discussion over the design build last time and what all that would entail and just kind of the overall project. And there was some concerns over costs, and things like that. So I'll pass these out while Blaine comes up and go ahead and introduce himself and talk to him.
Thank you, Zach. Mayor and council, thank you all for letting me talk here today. My name is Blaine Mikulik. I'm a landscape architect at Kimberly Horn Associates. I live in San Antonio. Our address, I don't know if you need this, is 10101 Reunion Place, Suite 400, San Antonio, Texas 78216. And the topic of discussion was the community center, the flooding that has been going on around the site and the drainage issues that are taken into account. Our proposal set forth is looking at survey, site reconciliations, civil engineering documents, landscape architecture documents, and those that you see within the scope of services between both items. And so leaving that as the presentation, I'll open the floor for any questions and would love to field those.
Yeah, Blaine, I think the biggest thing that we were talking about, and council, you can correct me, I think we were just looking at options. It seemed like you're giving us different scenarios or a couple of them. And I think the council was asking for clarification of what would be the options and the costs that would go along with those options. Because you were also trying to help us out, not absorb some additional costs if we actually did certain things differently, basically, if I understood that correctly.
Yes, sir, Mayor. Those are the two options, because the first option we presented was the full design construction documents that we recommend through the majority of any design approach that we take, is having the full design approach from start to finish until construction phase services start and a general contractor comes on board. Another option I've seen and have provided to y'all is the option for a design build, which is the second option, which would in turn limit the landscape architecture construction drawings to only a schematic design, to where we would provide a feasible construction or schematic design that would then be taken by a general contractor or a landscape contractor at that point to then install via design build from that standpoint on. That would therefore remove the landscape and hardscape construction drawings, as well as minimize some of the construction phase services time, meetings and team coordination, and submittals and permitting tasks. So those are all going to be reflected in the two changes.
So the one that Zach handed out, okay, and on there, and it has the amount, okay,
Yes, sir.
that 49,
600.
and then the original is the one that we got on the packet. Okay, so those are the two options that we actually had, and the difference is for us with the landscape and the hardscape construction drawings, basically, where we would be able, but everything else would be pretty much. Can you say if we do go with this option with the 49, what would that entail? Just so the council will have an idea of what you're going to do out there or be part of, or what we're going to get.
So what you would get on the same level would just be our whole design team approaching it from the holistic perspective, just the same we would any other project. Jumping in, getting a topographic survey that surveys the entire site, understands the drainage a little bit more in depth rather than just high level LiDAR data that's available now. We would take that and then provide a site plan reconciliation on the civil engineering side and start preliminary on-site civil engineering, which starts looking at mass grading and looking at the site from a holistic perspective, understanding of the parking lots, regrading the parking lots, looking at a new surfacing and the cut and fill that might need to take place there. On the landscape architecture side, you would have landscape hardscape schematic design, which would include the dry creek beds that we had discussed with Zach and his team, and discussed alternatives, options, ideas that would be represented in the in a plan form, so that would show you where your dry creek beds are. Here's the extent of where, like, how big these things are. Here's the type of material that you should use or we recommend using. Here's the area where these are going. We're going to look at from a landscape architecture perspective, which is where I specialize, is we'll take the grading into consideration, showing actual feasible locations, maybe showing locations where concrete might need to be removed and replaced to have positive drainage, or having different types of surfacing around the building to have positive flow outside of the building. And so that package will be schematic in nature, and it will not be a construction document, but it will be in detail enough to where a contractor can pick it up and then probably take it from that point on to do a design build approach from their perspective. And then after that, you'll have full final on-site civil engineering, submittals and permitting, meetings and team coordination, which after the schematic design portion kind of terminates or is final, I would then step away as the landscape architect, and then the landscape contractor can lead it from there. I'll still have a hand in that, being a part of this. I'm not just gonna leave you hanging. It's
So
not,
this is just that portion of it. We would still have additional costs for the actual work to be done. Is that correct?
This is just like a survey and.
this is just,
Blueprint.
yes, sir.
It's 49, just gets a blueprint.
And that's what the council, we were trying to get for the council, get an idea.
Blaine, based on some of the ideas that we had talked about. But the idea of some of the general costs of what we see. I know we somewhat reached out to a landscape guy. What some of. Might look like, just so they have an idea of
On top
some
of- on
additional
top of what
costs
you're
we might
presenting,
be
like,
talking about.
like this is for the blueprint, right? What are we possibly looking on top of that? Give or take for the actual work to be done. What you suggest, what we use for the driveway, and what we use for the landscape. Right, what, right, big bit, whatever, stuff like that, what is something in that form of on top of this.
Sure. And I can only professionally speak on behalf of the landscape side of things is I wouldn't be able to put a penny to my name on on the actual road and the parking lot surfacing, and I'll leave that to my civil engineer partners. But on the landscape side, I would thank you for not holding me to this, but would back a napkin be around like 30 grand or so on top of the landscape side of things. And so the 30 to 40-ish, based on the amount of drainage that's required, we would recommend the amount of piping, the conduit that might need to go under sidewalks, or maybe removal of sidewalks in different areas, and then the maybe the materials and whatnot. And so that's back of napkin. Haven't put any cost estimates to this or areas, square footages.
Yeah.
So it's probably just the landscaping alone, which would create the positive drainage and solve that issue, would be that.
And then after, this, we would go out for bid on stuff like that?
Yeah, for that cost, I would.
Yeah, it's 20 or above.
I mean,
20
that's just for the
above.
landscaping, right? That's not including, like you said, the civil engineering side of everything
Correct.
else?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, we weren't expecting that much.
Yeah,
Sure.
That we weren't expecting with that, because we kind of have an idea, but we want to make sure that we kind of just do a really good assessment of the area, just because, we made a determination that it's not a foundational issue, it's more the drainage that causes the building to shift. And we appreciate all the help with that. We really do. But now it's, okay, let's go ahead and do it. And we kind of have an idea, but we weren't expecting it to be that high for the services. Not that you're worth it. And I'm with you. But for us, we kind of had an idea of, okay, an idea of what would it, and that's the reason why we were looking for options. That was anything else.
So we've talked about blueprints, we talked about schematics. It's still a high price. What am I gonna get? Am I gonna get true blueprints where it's gonna have elevations and the contractor will be able to come in, cut the grade, set those elevations and actually do the job? If you have drainage pipes or whatever, you're gonna have all that marked out, how deep it's gonna be. You have all those elevations are gonna be marked in your blueprint.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's gonna be a full set, the contractor can just give it to the contractor, say, here, bid on this. And they will know exactly what it is they need to do,
Yes, sir. The civil engineering plans will have gradings and elevations, and they'll have a surface, what we call a grading surface, that will then show.
which is a savings we'll have, because the contractor won't have to do any of that.
Correct.
Now, when you say landscaping, we're talking about asphalt or concrete, whatever we decide on the parking area. We're not talking about any type of retaining walls or anything decorative around the actual community center, are we?
Not that I'm aware of. I think my approach and my initial thoughts with Zach was strictly just to create positive drainage around the site through the use of dry creek beds, landscape elements, rather than concrete flumes, which
So
is
your
another
your
option.
three biggest items are the topical, and then the site plan. Actually, it's the preliminary and then the final. What's the difference between the preliminary and the final? That doesn't come what we get at the end is the final. We don't get anything on the preliminary. Why is there a separate charge and why is it so expensive? Why are we paying that preliminary and prime and final?
I think the preliminary, and I might be able to leave this to some of my partners as well, but the preliminary is going to be your mass grading. It's going to be the adjustment of, taking your first pass through the design, through the actual understanding of the site. And so that can be a submittal. So that's typically what we do, call it a 60% set, design development set, to where we take 60%, hand you those blueprints as they are, unsigned, not for construction yet, but understanding that here's what we're talking about. Here's the amount of cut and fill that you'll need on the site preliminarily. Here's this, so that you are aware.
I
And
mean,
then-
but if you're talking about 60% of it, the work's already done, and then you're basically 110% times that cost on the final.
Correct, it is.
It's
Okay.
3 times your preliminary. Well, not 3 times, but it's like,
So I'll step in here just to elaborate a little bit more.
Can you
on
state
the-
your name just?
Oh,
so it'll
yes,
be-
Stephen Annual with Kimley Horn, same office location in San
Perfect.
Antonio.
Thank you, sir.
I think that one of the things that, on our engineering projects, especially for our municipal clients, we always recommend doing at least one design submission in advance, because one of the things we don't want to do is go straight to final design, sign and seal the drawings, and then even through coordination, and then we develop a cost for that, and that cost is way outside of your budget, right? The preliminary, and again, that's just the high level concept review, coming up with thoughts, coordinating with the team, with the city, and making sure that we're all on the same page. So we can give you, it's a less detailed plan set, so to speak, right? When he's saying schematic design, we're talking about, a couple sheets that are really there to convey the general intent of the project. And then we'll assign an estimated construction cost to that, submit it, goes to the design, to the city to review it. And then that's when, if we can take any additional feedback, make those changes. But really the intent is of not going straight to 100% is, if we go to 100%, and put all that detail into the plans, and the cost comes in too high,
Reject it.
and then there's a change in mind, well, then we've got to go back another step, redo the design concept, and then update the plans accordingly. So part of it is, I would say it is budget control to help, present the options, the design options to the city. So y'all have a chance to see it in advance before we get too far down the road. So understand, from a non-budgeted standpoint on something like this, it just, this is very typical of what we typically want to do at a minimum, one preliminary submittal, just so there is an advanced review by the agency to provide feedback and
yeah, just
and
looking at
analyze
the
the
fact that
cost.
this is a community center. It's not gonna be a building that's gonna house, the city or the fire department or
It's used all the
anything. It's
time,
just, yeah, it's just a
Mhm.
community center, and I understand that we have to get it right because we can have foundation problems in the future, like we already
Mhm.
have, right? So if we do any improvements on the foundation, if we don't get this landscaping right, we're just gonna go right back to the same issue. It just seems like a big ticket number.
Can you put the map up or the diagram?
Is this, I guess it's not in the budget yet, right? It's not, but obviously we had money within the next pool specifically for. the
That's earmarked.
So I can't recall the exact amount I was asking on. Offhand the exact amount that we have in there, but it might.
Go ahead and go to that last page.
Give me 2 seconds. Here. So,
Should be 17.
so,
Right.
There you go.
All right. So we definitely wanted to get the feedback to make sure, because we're trying to fix stuff and make it as permanent as possible. But in reality, we know what's going on. Getting flooded right here and it's getting flooded right in. So these two things have drainage problems. Those are the two big ones right there that we're trying to figure out. And I know that's causing us with different shifting and different things that are going on that make us second guess. So these are the ones that we're more worried about. Is there any way we can kind of look at just those and maybe be able to save a little bit of money on that? instead of looking at the whole parking lot. I know the parking lot, but honestly, we also got to deal with the gutters in here and other things that are going on because we got to put a new roof, right? Yeah. So we got to take care of that portion of it. But it's right here and right here. These are where we have, there's a sidewalk and you're totally correct. There's some sidewalks in here that kind of make it pool and it backs up in here and it just becomes a pool in there. That's where we also have the AC units with concrete pads. So it's just sitting there and just sits there. You go to this door that goes right into here into the back room. And on there, you can see the water actually has gotten in. It's gotten up a little bit high because of it raises so quick because of the amount of water that comes out from here. So the question that I have, I don't know the council, but to me, is there any way we can just concentrate on this in this area? Or maybe there's a little bit of savings on that? I'm just throwing it out there. Because I know that's where it happens. Richie, oh, there he is. Richie knows all about that, especially in the back. You know how it becomes back here.
I mean, I've been watching this for 27 years, and it only gets worse as we've had growth around there. And then in 26 years, 2013, we added that other building, and now we have a flood in between there, so.
It's right there.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The proposal that we have is geared around having new parking lot on the north and the south side of the site. And so those two blue areas you see in the diagram includes this cost. So if we stop looking at those two areas specifically, there will still be some portion of grading that will need to be involved, but there's definitely a relook and a minimizing of these numbers for sure.
Yeah. Those would be the areas. I can just tell you, if there's some way that we can actually get the water out of there and there's drainage on this side, right, Richie? It's right on this side right here.
Well, everything's going that
Yes.
direction.
Yeah.
That's what. Blaine was
So
showing.
if we can just look at this area and this area and being able to kind of keep it flowing on here, be able to get it out of here and let it flow because there is some on there. I think that would be the key. I know it's gonna be a little bit difficult on this side, but it's right in here where it really builds up.
Right by the sidewalk, because you've got the church property, it's kind of up a little bit, and then it comes down,
Right here.
it's almost like a gully, and then the building is fairly low.
And then it builds up right in here. So you end up with a nail of just water around this building. Is that right?
Yes, and I was up there, I mean, it'll hold water for 4 or 5 days after it rains. I mean, I thought about taking a fishing pole up there, but
I did take a site visit right before this meeting too, and there's still some standing water in the back there.
So there's two questions proposed or put to you right now. Is this, it sound like trying to make a deal? Let's make a deal. Is this the least amount or the lowest amount that you can come up with?
With the reduction of scope, no, sir, we can definitely go lower.
If you would, and like we said, the mayor, and this is correct about what we're focusing on, the asphalt and the paving of the driveway, it would be nice to have that included, but it's not really gonna take much. You're talking about trying to get it leveled and just doing the survey readings, right? I know that costs money, but I don't foresee anything at least on the south part of it, the bigger part, down on the bottom, anything going out of the ordinary for that parking lot. But the triangle shaped one, I do see that probably has a lot of improvements that's required, right?
And we'd have to look at the survey. That's the one thing I would recommend keeping with is the survey that you have here, because we will need to understand in detail what the drainage looks like around the site. And so that.
The topographic survey, that's the one that you say.
Yes, sir. The
Okay.
topographic survey, which helps understand the contour of the site. Go ahead.
I was gonna say is, one thing that could be an option too is authorizing the survey to move forward. If we want to focus purely on the drainage and not as much on the landscape or the hardscape, we could, get the survey, review it,
Give you a better
look at the
idea.
drainage, get an idea of what, right? Because I think the big thing is if we produce a construction set to the city, that's gonna go to bid. We want to be able to stand behind it and,
Yes, sir.
right, and say, not only for our protection, but for yours too, because that's when you end up, we don't put as much detail or the more information we request of the contractor to fill out, to try to figure out, that's just, it's an opening for potential change orders down the future, right? So again, understand the budget. We certainly want to work with y'all to get to a spot where it's doable. But I think maybe if we want to focus more on the drainage side of things, we can get the survey, look at that. And then also from there, we can evaluate from a parking standpoint, hey, do we have fall in the parking lot? Because if we know that we have fall in the parking lot, at that point, we can show a general paving boundary. And then in most typical construction contracts, the contractor is required to have a licensed surveyor on board that we can show grade the drain. But I think the big thing is we want to make sure we know for a fact that it grades the drain and we don't put it on there. And then they come out there and said, well, how do we do that? It's not going to work. And I think so. And that would just put us in, right. It would put us in a tough position in negotiating with the contractor. So.
Roger that.
Yeah,
And my only concern is the other repairs that need to be done on top of this. With
Well,
all the
there's-
other costs, the roof and everything else needs to be done. Now we're adding this cost and then we're gonna add the other cost for this, for, all that. It just, it adds up really quick. What our budget was.
May I-
that we had.
May I ask a question in relation to the roof? Is that the negotiation or coordination with the contractor underway at that point? Okay, I didn't know, I mean, if there's, again, not that we want to lose work, but at the same time, we want to do what's right by the city. I mean, if this is a minor item, is there an opportunity to incorporate something like this into their scope? I mean, just a thought, right? I mean, yes, want to do what's right. There's going to be more work to follow, right? But again, if
But
it's
if
truly.
it's coming from an engineering side, I'd rather have it come from you guys than to come
Right.
from a contractor that's
Right.
got invested in
Right,
it.
right. Well, the roof's going to be done by contractor, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Roofing contractors,
Right.
I mean, specifically for,
Mhm.
so I'd rather.
Right.
The
No,
only thing
it
with
was
the
just a-
roof first, we'll have
Right.
the gutters that are gonna be coming out.
Yeah.
But it's just like Richie said, and it's basically just like a bowl. So we gotta figure out how to elevate and make it slanted so it goes
The
out.
whole thing is, right, because if you look at where shopping center is, it's a whole lot higher.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Everything comes down.
Yeah.
The church comes down.
Yep.
So everything is just coming straight
Yeah, so you
down.
got,
The house in the back, you can already see the elevation as it's coming down to the roadway. So everything is just coming right into that. So there's a lot that needs to be done.
yeah, so
So
We
maybe the
definitely need to
smartest
have-
thing is authorizing just task one, spend the 10,000
That's
on
up.
task one for the topographic survey. Get a better idea of what's truly going on the property, and then we can reassess there.
And y'all will be directing that.
Sure.
The topographical. y'all
Yeah,
will be
I
directing
guess
that.
one thing that I would request as part of that is I would like to include some time for the engineering side to review. Right, just to look at the grading, just to, when we're
Task
providing.
four? Would
Yes,
you
sir,
have your
task four, yes, sir.
So what
So,
would that cost be?
right there, that's 11.6.
I
so-
want to hear from them, so it's on record. So
Well, no, yeah.
Here it is. It's
Yeah.
gonna be this much, boom.
Based on the proposal that Blaine put together, I mean,
so we're looking at task one, just so we can, if we do make a motion, we're gonna look at task one and task four.
Mhm.
Right.
Is that correct?
Mhm.
Would that get us where we need to go, get started with this?
I think,
We're okay with that?
to look at the grading, I mean,
With that?
is that-
Correct, yes.
No, because that'll give you an insight of what it's gonna entail, and then you can come back to us with a real number. I think it's a fake number, but come back with a more realistic number of what the overall project's gonna cost.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But no, that's not, the motion's not gonna be to approve that 2632. It's gonna have to be
No,
rewritten.
specifically for those.
So Mayor, if I make a motion to approve task item one, topographical survey, and task item number 4, which is the site plan recognition in
Yes.
coordination with the city administrator.
That's correct, because it's listed on there and it has a 25-13-005. So
Right.
it's straightforward to what's on there. Austin, just to double check, we're good? Okay, there you go.
That's my motion.
That's your motion.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is second?
I'll second that.
You got a second? Okay, perfect. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? All right,
Thank you for working with us.
yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
It's always interesting, and we're not gonna get any rain any soon, so you can watch it, but it's always fun watching it as it occurs.
Stay close so we can-
So, I know. All right, cool. Let me go ahead and move, four. Sorry, just making notes. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to C. Is discussion and possible action concerning city street repair and use of certificate of obligation funds recently issued for street construction purposes. Zach
All
and
right.
Stephen.
Yeah, so following our discussions, I guess a couple council meetings
And
ago.
Michael.
Yes. We spoke with Kinley Horn, specifically Stephen, and they came out and took a look at mostly Lytle Somerset, as we discussed, but the additional roads that any of y'all sent me. And so I know that they have some information, and we just wanted to get it in front of y'all and have some of that conversation tonight. So I will turn it over to them.
All right.
Again, Stephen Daniel with Kimley Horn and San Antonio office 101 Reunion Place, and Michael Lissy as well. He's one of my young engineers that helped us out. So if it's all right, I'm gonna pass these out, or do y'all
Yeah.
have a copy of these?
Yeah, definitely. If you have an extra one for city attorney, that'd be awesome too. Thanks. Thank you, sir.
And I'll just give it to her when we're done.
So as Zach mentioned, we came out a couple weeks ago, and just to drive them, one of the things I like to do before proposing on any street projects, I want to get a feel for them so we know, hey, what's the proper method. And Zach indicated, hey, we've received some projects from council. Want to look at it from a cost standpoint. There's money that from bonds that have been done, just to get an idea. So from the cost standpoint, I want to make sure this is, I would say, a small range to a large range. And so, I mean, one or the other, that's not, I guess, what we're necessarily here today is to figure out, hey, which option, it's more of like, if we were going to do a small, as minor as possible with, removing a couple inches, and then, that would be this. And then if we wanted to look at one of the higher levels where it's removing, full depth and base, fixing the profile of the road, and all of these streets are also, there's no curb, so everything goes to the roads, essentially a roadside ditch. It would be reestablishing roadside ditches throughout. So again, the cost that you see up here for each one of these, and I can walk through each one of them and point out a few areas that I think we specifically would want to look at. Those are based on some very high level quantity takeoffs that we pulled from Google Earth, measuring it and looking at, 8 to 10 items that we would typically include, your base, your pavement, whether there's curbs, grading, things like that, and then assigning a cost to it. I do want to point out too, these costs have about a 30% contingency in them. So, when we come to y'all with costs, we don't like having to come back and say it's more. So again, this is intended to try to be a higher level, right? Again, without having looked much further than that outside of the site visit. Again, so again, that's just walking through today. So the cost that you see up here on the top left of each of the streets, a mill and overlay. So that's just pulling off the top, 1.5 to 2 inches and putting it back in, and then doing some, very, very minor work in addition to that, but the main thing related to that is going to be the paving. So, and again, and then the full reconstruction, as I mentioned, is that's reprofiling, putting, driveways, potentially driveway culverts, doing the regrading in the right of way as well. So that, again, that's intended to be more larger scale. So
Does it have a little bit, when you do the mill and overlay, it still has a little bit of angle? Yeah.
Right. Yes,
It still has.
right. We would, that's correct. I mean, if there's a crown on the road, we would put something in the drawings to reestablish the crown. Typically on the mill and overlay projects, TxDOT does it. A lot of cities don't. They'll, you give them an exhibit, a little bit more detail than this, and you give them the area, you give them what we call a typical section of what it's supposed to look like, and they say, go build it. But I would say the intent behind those, aren't necessarily to go through there and reprofile the entire street.
Yeah.
So we can, right? But again, that's more of, hey, this is really it's a maintenance application to extend the life of the roadway before something more substantial is needed.
Does this cost or these costs that you have on here also include the connections to the driveways and everything?
Yes, it does include
Okay.
these costs is related to concrete driveways. So if we went with something less than that, yes, but this was more concrete driveways. And again, we included some miscellaneous construction dollars for driveway culverts if we're going to be reestablishing
Okay.
some of those roadside ditches. And so I guess real quick and, be happy to open up questions as you have them, but on Lido Somerset Road, there's a high point that's, I guess, a few hundred, I don't know, 400 or 500 feet west of I-35.
Mhm.
Up there closer to 35, there's, pretty substantial drainage issue. It looks like there was I think Zach, you were saying that someone went and did some excavation in there just to move some water off the road. What's that? The city did that. I mean, it looks like a lot of that could be in TxDOT right away.
Ready.
Yes, sir. So, we'd have to look at the 35 the right of way boundary to see, who's really responsible for that. If it is TxDOT, I would obviously encourage them to participate, right? And help because looking through that.
Well, let me save you some time. We're gonna go like this.
Yeah.
It's been, Richie, how long?
Dan will bring up all this history forever. It
Yeah.
gets worse. Whatever time we deal with something, it gets worse. You can take a small John boat over there when it's raining. Transfer it over to the
So I think it's better for us to go ahead and be able to fix it or
Right.
modify it in a way
Right.
for that area because it just pulls right there in that driveway going into the Taco Bell
Right.
area. That's the worst part, and it kind of stretches along the one side. But
And when they
that's
came, they saw water.
Yeah, no, we were several days after
So,
the rain and there was still, there was 6 inches of water in the road right up against.
Yeah.
So again, that obviously we saw it. That's one of the problem areas. I think there's also going to need to be some swell excavation on the other
Yes.
side there too, to move that water down to that culvert. And so again, one area, this street actually, minus that first section by 35, once you got a little bit further to the west, you actually picked up a little bit of fall. So you've got that, you've got water moving to the creek that's over there by Benton City Road. So on something like this, it all comes down to the level that you want to improve these streets to,
Yeah.
right? So with the street that does have more fall, or at least the water is moving on those, that could be viewed as, hey, we know the water's moving. It may not be ideal, especially for Lido Somerset, right? This is the one where Kimley Horn's studying as part of the master drainage plan too, that there could be a project coming through in the future, right? And so I think one of the questions for council is, what, potential, what's the timing on something like that? Again, there may be grant funding or something like that would have to be, that would need to be secured. But, if there's a project like that in 5 years, 7 years, would we want to go invest $1 million to rebuild the
Yeah,
entire
you could
thing?
say the same thing for that Benton City Road. It's
Right.
just keeps getting worse and worse.
Right.
On that Benton City Road, where it ties into the Lido Somerset,
Yes, sir.
when you keep going straight and you go to Main Street, you see how nice and pretty that road is?
Mhm.
What was different about that road? Would you be able to comment on that? Why is that road lasting as long as it has?
Are you?
This stretch right here?
No,
Yeah, as it goes up towards Main Street.
Well, you said that one was recently,
I don't know when it was. done.
Construction.
It's about
It
like
was-
5 years ago.
it
or
was an overlay,
right?
but
Well, and
my comment about the driveways, that was a lesson learned about that
Yeah.
one. They came in and it was nice and smooth.
it looks good at first.
There was nothing
Right.
but the driveways.
Yeah.
So we had public works over there, right, Pete? They were out there trying to add and everything. Well, we didn't have that on there. So that's,
That's all right.
And
those-
we
those
we
things
drove
that
each
were-
of these streets a few times. We drove up and down that
Yeah.
extension to Main Street. When I drove it is in good shape. A mill and overlay.
And that would be
a
the-
mill and overlay should, I'm sorry, I mean to go ahead.
No, that would be what you're talking about in the
Yes,
drawing.
I
here,
would
which
say
you would do in
a
Benton
mill,
City, right?
a mill and overlay should last you 8 to
Yeah.
10 years. I mean, again, if you improve the drainage, if you don't improve the drainage, that number, that duration can go down. So and I will say one of the things too that I didn't see was that flush curbs up along the edge of pavement. We call those ribbon curbs. Yes, it is an additional expense, but it's also serves as edge protection. So when you have vehicles driving, it more or less acts as a barrier for the edge of that asphalt. So if you look at, you drive a lot of TxDOT, like FM roads or highway roads, like out here, I live in Pleasanton, so it's the same thing. You'll notice that right along the edge of the shoulders, that's where you have the failures. Well, there's nothing really supporting it. So
Right.
gravity's pulling it down, right? So again, that's another thing that's included in like the full reconstruction cost is, we're not looking at dropping these roads 7 inches, putting in a high curb. No, it's, limiting the excavation to make sure we get it to drain,
Yeah.
putting in a flush curb and then reestablishing those ditches. But yeah, exactly to your point. So I think, for 5 years, I would say it probably has a few more base failures than I would want to see in 5 years. But generally speaking, like the surface of it has held up fairly well. So,
Yeah.
and I think that was
It's
that was the consistent theme that we saw with Zach was, it was all the ditches on the side, right? Again, do you want to spend, $40,000 to $80,000 regrading the, if you go exit, go through there and you get your grader out there and you scrape it off and you put a V, well, now naturally hey, we've got to put sod or seed bags, topsoil. So, right, you start pulling that Band-Aid off, then it's just, you've got to come back in after the fact and add those. So, but you mentioned Benton City Road, that one we took to the city limits. It's got a concrete drainage flume along the one side. That thing drains fairly well. The pavement is, I would say it's pretty deteriorated.
Yeah.
So would it be just, if I look at Benton City Road, would it just be the 105? Probably not. There would probably be some additional base repairs that would need to be done. We would like to try to, it looked like, again, there was water draining through there from that creek that obviously drains for several days or weeks after you get a massive rainstorm like that. But it was draining fairly well to where I would hope that we wouldn't need to come in and reconstruct something like that.
It's just interesting that that's half the cost of the Little Somerset Street.
Right.
It's also like you said, ending here, the
Yeah.
street's pretty still good.
Right.
And
so-
to the other.
so-
All this areas saying, hey,
Yeah,
it's still pretty
but I
good.
mean, considering the width of that road too.
The driveways, the linear feet, all sorts of factors.
I do agree, this
was-
definite, I mean,
Mhm.
this one definitely, especially the closer that you get
Mhm.
up this area, it
Mhm.
gets, in this portion, it's really bad.
Right.
It's probably the worst condition that you have on any other roads
Right.
that we have. So those are the ones that need to do that. Based on what you're gonna do with a mill and overlay, I think that's gonna line up perfectly to a project. We're gonna have to spend, this is just mine from a few years ago, asking a friend of mine, engineer. You're looking at about $4 million from here all the way to the creek. We're gonna have to go with culverts underneath. So all this concrete that is on the side, if we don't touch it, that's fine. Because eventually we're gonna have to go ahead and go underground and then build on top. So you have a little bit on top, but
Right.
it's for all that water that comes out of the creek, it's gonna need to go underground all the way,
Right.
all the way to the end.
Right.
And that's gonna require a lot.
Right.
That's,
Right.
that's a $4 million
Right.
project.
And I think that's why I'm not giving you, hey, this is the fix you need to do, because ultimately it's, you've got to, what do we want to dedicate to
But
this?
this is reasonable.
Right. Yes, sir. So,
This is reasonable with
Mhm.
what we need to do to make it last until we get to that
Right.
point. And we have the other study done, and then we can go ahead and put the grant that
Right.
lines up with
and
that.
so I think, and Zach speaking to me, that was one of the things that was present the options. I think the big thing is where are their priorities? What roads are their priorities? Because, from there, then I can, kind of better understand, okay, here are the priorities, here's the budget that we want to stick within, work within. And then from there, I would like to get geotech some soil samples done through here to understand what does our base section look like, right? Like, because if we come in and again, I know maybe Magnolia or some of these other streets may not be the 100% priority, but if we were to come in and say, hey, let's just do a 2-inch mill and overlay, but then we get a soil sample back and there's only 1.5 inches of asphalt on sand, that 2 inches isn't going to last long term, right? So that's where you'd have to come in and put a 6-inch flex base or something more substantial, which could drive up that cost. So I think on something like this, I would probably request to go with the geotech so we could at least, look at the soil samples and get an understanding of what that looks like. And then we can kind of shape our recommendations onto, okay, here's the budget we have. You've seen the soil samples. We can kind of, I would say, take an educated guess on what that needs to look like and come up with a bit more firm construction dollars on the ones that you would say are priority projects.
And you know, when he's talking about the state of Texas, right? Have we approached them already on this, on that side of it?
Well, they stop here.
No, he was talking, we're talking
On
about,
Somerset.
like Somerset in front of like Taco Bell and all that. Have we reached out to them already on that? And if we haven't, is that something that y'all would do and find out where the boundary is?
Right. We can, I have not looked at this yet, but we can check with our surveyors to see if we can locate the boundary, because there should, like even TxDOT should have a right of way map. And I believe too, there, correct me if I'm wrong, but the feasibility study that was done by TxDOT for the 35 corridor, one of my coworkers was a part of that. So I can go back in and look at that
I mean,
data.
I'd like to see that, because
Right.
maybe that would cut a little bit off.
Right.
And now
Mhm.
instead of hitting just one, you can hit two.
Right.
That's
And
what we're
I think
allowed.
related to just the big thing, it's just constant communication. You mentioned
The
it, right?
the
There's it.
background on this, just to save you a little bit of time. The frontage roads were just redone 4 years ago. Okay? Those frontage roads included there. And we put it on there for them to fix. Remember that, Pete? We put it on there about them working on that, specifically that one. And they came back. Let's ask again. There's different engineers now from the time that we did that project.
So it wouldn't hurt to,
but-
it wouldn't hurt to ask, and again, if that would cut down on some of this, then again, with what we were working with, maybe we can hit,
Mhm.
you know, all of Vital Somerset and Benton and knock out two versus just trying to hit one with what we have, you know?
I mean, based on the numbers, are you thinking full contract or you're just looking at
Whatever he's got here, the mill and overlay.
Yeah.
You know, like he said, we're talking
Yeah.
6-8
Yeah,
years
yeah, yeah.
before this done.
Get
We're
us down
talking
the road.
another
so
big
we
project of 4 million that way.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of a short-term
Get us
fix
down the road.
to help us out right now.
Yeah, because the
And-
mill and overlay.
And I
will
would say too,
will take
like,
care of those
uh,
two streets.
what's that?
The mill and overlay will take care of the Bed City and the South Somerset Lytle Street. I mean, we're only talking about, you know, like 3. We still have more. We have 1 million, right?
One.
Yeah,
So I mean, we still have room for other
yeah,
streets.
I'm just thinking, you know.
I'm just thinking about the
future-wise.
thoroughfares. We know Benton City's got a lot of high traffic. And the Lytle Somerset used to not, but now with all the inclusion of all these businesses in that area, they're getting a lot of traffic through there. So we need to stay on top of that road before it becomes too dangerous. So.
That Benton City Road, is it gonna be widened?
I think with this exercise, well, it could be, right?
I'm just saying,
yeah.
because the way it is right now, it's
Right.
pretty bad.
Right.
Even at going at 25 miles an hour
Mhm.
and you have opposing traffic going towards you, it's like, you're like, I mean,
Right.
once you hit that dirt, you're already wanting to
It-
go
it-
weak to, and then that drainage area kind of throws it off.
And that's why I'm saying it could be, if we do something like that, we'd likely have to move the center of the roadway over, which means we'd end up moving the drainage over. So on something like that, that's gonna become more of a,
Yeah.
like a full depth reconstruction type project.
But
on the
Richard, you gotta
cost.
remember too, a lot of the traffic and the way it's unsafe now is because people are trying to avoid the potholes. If we get those out of the
Yeah,
way. and just
yeah, the
have formal
potholes over here,
lanes.
but I'm talking about right here where it's just the road.
Are we making an action on this tonight, or is this just for info?
I think,
We said discussion and possible action. I mean, we really just wanna, from a staff level, I need to know how we wanna proceed. I mean.
How much did we have on the certificates obligation?
1 million.
So according to my numbers, if we do the mill, it's 864.
For
For all
everything?
projects?
The mill and overlay.
On all of them?
and I just wanna preface that with, right, we don't know what the base looks like.
Yes.
I'm with
So,
you.
okay.
I'm with you.
So I wanna hear it again. How much?
I'm with you.
Stephen, does
And
that?
so we get a little bit of cushion.
Mhm.
I think what Alderman Martinez is saying, let's get with TxDOT right away and kind of get an idea of where it stops. Maybe a new look at a new engineer kind of gives us a little bit of variety. But I mean, with what we have here, and specifically, I mean, I look at this came from our council, so thank you. These are important streets. I can see the reasonings why we need to go ahead and take care of these. Without a doubt, they need to be done. And one of them, of course, especially like with Juarez Street over there, That's gonna have the second.
Especially the second entrance
Yes.
and redo the whole thing.
So that's a good thing for us. I think these are great recommendations.
You mentioned, so that's thank you for bringing that one up on Juarez Street. Towards, that last block east of San Juan,
Yeah, more costs.
it's gravel. So I see some potential right-of-way challenges there, like there's fences right up. That's one where
Where are you talking about? Oh, down here?
down east of San Juan,
East of San Juan.
east of San Juan, that last block. I think that's one, just, you probably want to get a survey and get the right of way reset.
Make sure.
And it's gravel there, so that strip right there is probably gonna be a more expensive than your, there's likely no base there. Other than probably a 3 or 4 inch gravel section. So again, that's why I'm saying on some of these costs, like if we look at doing a potential mill and overlay on that stretch, okay. But if we end up doing a little bit more, it wouldn't necessarily be the cost of that. It
And I
would
know it's-
probably be a little bit more.
It's kind of hard to say right now of, we had, I think 865 is what you come up with, right?
Yes,
And
64.
There's gonna be, give or take some, you requested the soil sample, right,
Mhm.
which it could have been another cost.
Right.
Is there any way of getting a roundabout number before we make an action on this to say, hey, we give or take here or there of everything together before we do?
I mean, I
Well, I
think,
was gonna ask, because, like he said at the beginning, there's a 30% contingency built to all of these numbers. correct? So,
yes.
Okay.
and then is that inclusive of like engineering?
No, this was just purely intended to be construction right now.
So we're okay with another 30%.
Is that typical 10-20%?
I would say that's the range considering, if we end up having to go get survey, that's gonna add it up, right?
You're gonna be right at that.
So we're still-
So, I mean, obviously, they would do up a proposal, just like the community center
So-
one, right?
So let me just ask council, is everybody comfortable with the streets that are presented?
Yes.
What I would like to consider, the traffic that's on Benton City Road right now is not gonna decrease at all. It's not gonna
Right.
stay the same. It's only gonna increase. If we have a number of streets here, and I would like to have one alternative that we could drop off if necessary. Because I really think when you start doing mill and overlay on Benton City, to make sure the edges don't just fall off, you're probably gonna have to do some kind of repairing rate,
I would have to say Magnolia.
basement. That would be the one.
That would be the one to
knock
drop off at, like.
But I really think you're gonna find damage under there without going all the way to full
It's not traveled
reconstruction.
that much.
You just won't feel right about throwing asphalt in it
Mhm.
and hoping it doesn't break up.
Because they're trying to go around all that.
So that's,
And they're trying to go around
it's
25 miles an
if
hour.
everybody's okay with what we have right now, is that correct with the streets? And I understand with the
Yeah.
option. Everybody's okay. And we already mentioned in a sense of maybe one that we might be able to. How about if we do this? How about if we get a motion for us to designate our city administrator to go ahead and operate within the means that we have? We already have the streets. And he could actually go look at it and work with the engineers to make sure that we stay. If for some reason we're gonna get past that, or we're gonna have to drop a street,
Yeah.
then it needs to come back to the council. If not, we can delegate him to go ahead and if they can figure this out,
Wonderful project.
let them go ahead and
Or if there's
proceed.
any more funds on top of what we have, bring it back to us.
Correct. Correct. Is,
I'm good with that.
are you guys, I'll just need somebody to make that Austin, are we okay with that? Okay,
Yeah, y'all can proceed. Y'all can definitely give Zach authorization.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
okay. Can you go ahead and just state the
I'd
motion?
like to make a motion for the city administrator to get with Stephen Enderle,
Close enough.
And Michael,
Kimberly Horns and Associates in to review and move forward on the drawings as presented.
we delegate him to go ahead and have the authority to continue with his project on the streets that have been named.
Presented.
As presented in the,
With the mill and overlay option.
With a mill and overlay option.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, gentlemen.
Thank you all.
Ready, Michael?
You got some work, but
Got the pencils out. Got to sharpen them. Okay,
Richard,
we'll be
those-
able to take care of that stuff. Hey, great presentation. Thank you for this. This is really, really good. And, let's work with TxDOT, you know, get with the folks over there. And hopefully we can get a little bit of reprieve. But I know last time they pretty much, that's what they told us, that it was up to us. So to take care of that. All right, council, good discussion, good coverage. Let's go ahead and move on and, let's take care of D. Consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 2636, a resolution of City Council, City of Lidle, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of change order number 2 to the agreement by and between the City of Lidle, Texas and Ace Construction LLC for the Railroad Street, McDonald Street 12-inch water main loop, CSB number 2025-0202, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the mayor to execute any and all the documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement and providing an effective date. Scott and Zach, right? Right. Yeah, and Steven, you all, if you want to stay around, you can stay around. If you need to go, you're good. Work with Zach, okay? Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I appreciate the time tonight to discuss the change order for the waterline project. The original contract duration was 400 calendar days for the water main to be installed. And as of now, contractor has just the water service connections to the existing meters and all of the proposed connections to the existing water lines left, in addition to the 435 in the contract. As of today, the contractor feels by the middle to end of next week, they can have the water service lines connections the water service connections and the connections to the existing water mains complete. It would have been done sooner, except as presented in the change order, we have those 3 to 5 day periods of inclement weather that caused the delays. There was some time needed in those 5 day periods for each of those durations for the site to dry out, preventing the contractor to do more work beyond just the days that the rains occurred. So what they're asking for is just a 15-day contract extension to allow them to finish out the water services and the water main connections, at which point the water main can become active and start serving customers from Railroad down to I-35. At which point the contract will begin the bore under 35 connecting to the existing 12-inch line that's on the east side of the freeway just south of 2790.
And that one is supposed to be until September, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay,
They're gonna, yes, sir, sorry.
Yeah, it says that one is September, but this one will just be able to do that.
Correct, and the bore under 35 is integral to the project, but the main focus really has been to make sure we have the 12-inch water line installed and connected to the existing customers so they can start, so they can maintain service. And that could be accomplished by the middle of next week. We can isolate the 12-inch water line at the bore, which is going to be in the green space as the down the street transitions to the frontage road going south. And that way the contract will be out of the way. They can remain in the green space and just take the 4 weeks, whatever it takes to get across the freeway, make the connection on the other side.
So 2 questions. Right?
Yes, sir.
The first one, you got all the heavy duty businesses right on that 12-inch.
Yes, sir.
So have we talked to them? Do we know or how we're going to connect and make sure we don't interrupt the water disruption? Are we doing that at night? I mean,
yes, sir. We are, the contractor's been in coordination, my understanding, with the customers about that they're going to start the switch over soon. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be talking this week about trying to locate all the valves that will isolate the water line to allow the connections to occur. And they'd like to do it during the day, minimize the amount of time to do that, but if need, it'll be overnight.
are we keeping the 6-inch no, they're going to go away?
Correct. The 6-inch from the I-35 frontage road going north or west to Railroad Street will become abandoned.
Going right here.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that one is the one that services HEB.
Yes, and there's a connection at their main service driveway perimeter from the new 12-inch to the existing 6. Sorry. Yes, correct.
Okay. As long as you guys are talking to our businesses and
Yes.
all the folks on here and everybody's, it's very important for us not to actually disrupt or try to minimize as much as we
Absolutely.
can.
And the goal is to minimize the interruptions as much as possible.
Yeah, so please, and make sure that the contractor or yourself, somebody's talking to these business owners. If you're going to be doing it next week, you tell them, hey, we're looking at Wednesday, Thursday of next week doing it. In other words, give them a heads up of the days that you're probably going to be looking at.
Will do.
Okay. The more communication with them, the better it is. So we can kind of help each other and they kind of prep themselves too in
Sure.
case.
And my understanding is that the service lines are right there at the meter boxes. All you gotta do is just connect them.
Okay.
So that's where they are with what the service is. So I'll talk with the contractor tomorrow morning. Make sure that all of the businesses, I'll personally confirm that they're been talked with as well before those occur.
Roger that. This has nothing we need to worry about with the sidewalk project, right?
Correct.
Anything at all? I know they're
Yes.
doing it the same, but everything will be,
Correct. Yeah, the water line is out of the way of the sidewalk project. As a matter of fact, TxDOT wanted the sidewalk project to hold off until the water line project got far enough along that there wouldn't be any interruptions or
all the
conflicts.
connections are done and everything.
Yes, sir, correct.
Okay. Council, questions?
So Austin, at the time of the original contract, the council didn't get the full contract due to its size. But based on your knowledge of the contract, all this is okay? It's all within the guidelines?
Yes, as far as I can tell.
Because from what the information that I had, I didn't see a max number of days at the extension. But I do see that it's within 7 calendar days of the incident. Otherwise, they're liable for a $2,000 day fine. But we're all good with that. Based on what's currently being submitted.
We're restricted here with it's gotta come from y'all.
Right.
It's really just.
So the 15 days is not, it's not an issue.
Yeah, it's more about the notice.
Right.
If y'all approve the change order, then obviously those liquidated damages don't kick into effect. But if
Right.
y'all don't approve the change order, then theoretically, just like.
I just wanted to make sure that in the overall contract, there wasn't
Yeah.
a specific
It
amount of
called-
time.
So it called for rain delays. I don't remember if it had a specific amount in there, but I'd have to pull that up. But it did call for rain delays and them to notify us. I believe the
And it was
issue
7
on the
days per
first-
incident, though.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, and they had three total 5-day incidents, right? The first two, they thought they were gonna be fine and still within the time frame. This last rain is what kicked it, obviously.
So if 15 days is fine, I mean, that's good. Okay. And then this is gonna also delay the other side of
Yeah,
it.
I just wanted council to be informed. Don't forget that with this contract, there was a delay on us getting permission from some of the businesses for
That's
us
true.
to be able to do that.
Some
That
of the
delayed us,
easements we had to acquire.
right?
Yeah.
So some of those actually went up to about 2 months, if I remember correctly. So it's not the fault. We were just working with those companies, asking for the easement, and it just took longer than we actually did. And that's built into that. That was not considered, as part of that,
True.
but they lost that time too. So food for thought.
Which would put them into the rainy season.
Yeah.
Actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, if you remember,
Moving on now.
council, we went through this because they also wanted to start the sidewalk project. If you remember, it's the same contract. So we had to hold back, wait, and then start, and then wait again. And it was a little bit of dynamics that was going along. So just a little background on that one based on that. But I want to make sure we answer your questions, but I just want to make sure that we have the
I
big
think-
scope.
But from my perspective, from a staff perspective, if we were talking about not getting everybody connected and we were waiting until September, I would have a little bit of an issue with it. But
Right.
being that we can get everybody connected within a week or two, and then the board is really just the holdout, then, from a staff perspective, we feel pretty
Yeah.
comfortable.
And Scott, that also activates our fire hydrants, right? The new
Correct.
ones?
Yes.
They'll be active at that
Yes.
point.
Yes.
So we'll get all those on too.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 26-36, a resolution of the city council for the city of Lidle, Texas, approving terms and conditions of change order number 2 to the agreement by and between the city of Lidle, Texas and ACEE Construction LLC for Railroad Street, McDonald Street, 12-inch water main loop, CSB number 2025-02-02, providing for incorporation of preamble and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all document necessary to effectuate such an agreement and provide effective date today of July the 27th, 2026.
Got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Got a second? Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion, questions, council? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Thank you.
opposed? Okay, there you go, Scott.
you,
Time to
Mayor.
get to work. Here we go.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it, sir. All right, let's go ahead and move on to E, discussion and possible action concerning development of Rosewood Estates subdivision. Here we go. I
So
think
I'm
we
gonna
got
start-
Taylor here too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start off and then kick it over to Taylor here. Taylor's here to kind of talk, and this was an item that I sent after the actual information was sent after the packet went out. The information was emailed to y'all with everything included. But Mr. Major is here on behalf of LGI to discuss a proposal with y'all. If y'all had a chance to read through that proposal, it has come to y'all's attention, obviously, that where the water tower is at in Rosewood is not the property is still owned by the HOA. So it's not actually owned by the city. And so in order to make the switch to get it under city property and everything that goes along with that, LGI has presented this proposal, and as they kind of go forth with the development of the remainder of Rosewood Estates subdivision and everything that goes along with that. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Major and introduce himself and go through that proposal with you. So.
Good evening, council.
Good evening, sir.
Taylor Major, LGI Homes, 1450 Lake Robbins Drive, Suite 430, Woodlands, Texas, 77380. Council, I'll be pretty brief. I will kind of give an overview of kind of what's in here. I'll say, here's what the city gets, here's what we're asking for, and then I'll kind of open the floor for questions. But we are asking council to approve this non-binding term sheet so that our attorneys in conjunction with Zach and the city attorney can actually negotiate an actual agreement that would either come back to council for final approval, or if council wants to, they can, give Zach permission to execute. But getting these business terms lined up is pretty crucial so we can actually get to a contract. So at a very high level, the city gets a couple things. The city gets the land that the water tower is being constructed on. No charge. We'll just hand it over. And we can do that because I'm president of the HOA. We still control it. So that's not an issue. We will waive lawsuit, legal mumbo jumbo stuff, right? We're not looking to come after the city. And then the other big thing the city will get is we are willing to make advance payments on our wastewater LUEs. And I put that in here because Zach mentioned, I think there's an appetite, excuse me, there's an appetite from the city to maybe get going on the wastewater treatment plant. So we don't mind making some advance payments. And it's drafted, the first advance payment would actually start 30 days after the deal was fully executed. So that's kind of what the city get. What we're asking, it's really only two things. Number one, we just kind of lock in the current wastewater fees, impact fees, as well as the water dedication requirement. And then the other thing is the grandfathering and what am I missing? Sorry, the grandfathering, and then grandfathering or freezing the rates, whichever term council prefers or the lawyers prefer. And then the second item is just because we're advancing payment of the wastewater fees, just a slight discount because we're going to finance it essentially. Everything we do is on our revolving credit. It's a big $1.5 billion credit facility with Wells Fargo. So we finance everything. And so just a slight deduction on the wastewater fees just helps us kind of get through that process with Wells Fargo. That's essentially the high level terms of the deal. And I'll take questions.
Mayor, before we proceed, there's a lot of information here. I would feel more comfortable if we had an executive session at some point prior to addressing these items. How do I go about that? I feel more comfortable with that.
Questions?
Yes. Of what we can do with utilities and so forth.
Yeah. So we can discuss that if you don't want to hold this item up.
welcome to go into multiple.
I think we probably want to make sure that you all review everything and we kind of calculate stuff before we
Yes.
even go to executive
We table
session.
it.
Yeah, I think it would probably be good to table.
Okay.
And that way we can give everybody, the interested parties, along with your attorneys, we get a chance to kind of review it
Okay.
before we actually take
Sure.
it in.
Come
Yeah,
back and
because
say-
based on the proposed items that you're suggesting, it would be good to see numbers behind that.
Yeah,
Well, so
like you said, a
so,
discount, what do you?
Oh, well,
discount,
it's in
something
here.
like that.
So,
But I would like to get the city administrator to get the opportunity to get those numbers to council,
sure.
and then we can move forward there. And
So-
that's what I would like.
I won't get in the way of council communication with staff, but Alderman Martinez, the current numbers is a 10% discount. So the way it's set up is we would pay, advance pay all the wastewater fees in two phases. So the current development on the ground, we have about, I'm spitballing, but about $340,000 in wastewater fees outstanding because we haven't built those houses yet. The deal goes approved as written. 30 days after the deal's approved, we'll cut a check for half that. So let's call it 170 grand. We'll kind of keep building houses. And then 6 months later, we cut the final check for 170. And then phase two, which we're starting construction on in October. By the way, Kate Dawson is going to, if they haven't already. Okay. So phase two, we're starting construction on. And for phase two, same setup. When that plat's approved, we have to stroke a 50% payment right away for all the lots in phase two. And then 6 months later, we stroke the final check. And then same thing for phase three. So it's a pretty substantial commitment from our standpoint. And to just make the numbers work, like the discount is kind of crucial. Because otherwise, it's a conversation. We are a publicly traded company, and I don't want to get too in the weeds, but every quarter as vice president, I have to sit down with our auditors, and I don't want to have to answer questions like, "Well, tell you what did the company get for forking over this check that we technically did not have to pay, for the next 2 years because we're that many houses away." So the discount kind of helps sell it. It also helps on the financing side of things, but it's a 10%.
Yeah, and I do appreciate the numbers that you submitted in your proposal. But from the city's point of view, or from our side, we need to get concrete numbers as well.
Sure.
We need to get commitments, for example, but I really don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
Without talking to legal and the rest of the council about that.
So my question is there any other information council would like from us? With the understanding you want to
And
talk
that's
to
where the city
Zach.
administrator can get back to
So-
you once he gets
Yeah.
our wishes or our understanding.
So, let me ask from the council if we can get a motion for us to go ahead and table this. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion, we table it till our
Okay,
next scheduled meeting.
okay. Do I have a second? Second, okay, second, okay. So we're gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and open it up for discussion. I will say this, and I'm trying to remember, I'll have to go through my notes. Pat,
Vedra. Pat Vedra.
Yeah.
That's so I'm vice president. Pat's our regional for Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama. I report to Pat and then Pat reports to our CEO. So Pat's
Okay.
my boss.
and how about Dustin, Stogelman?
Dustin separated from LGI April 2025.
Okay, so I've been here for a long time
Yes, sir.
and we had a discussion about this.
Okay.
You might want to go talk to those individuals.
Mhm.
Because that property was actually donated because we had talked about being able to have adequate pressure on that side of town
Okay.
based on the homes that were being built.
But you mean the water tower land?
Uh-huh,
So that conversation predates my tenure.
yes, sir.
But I do think it's a little. I mean, I'm a
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
we're gonna
so-
put everything on there, but I'm
so-
just saying, go talk to your leadership.
Sure,
Because we were involved in the discussion.
right.
And that was kind of like an agreement that we talked about that property being available for the city to put the tower.
Yep.
In that, so we could adequately be able to put the additional,
Okay.
pressure on that side of town.
So, I don't mind being forthcoming with council. I talked to Pat several times today.
Yeah.
Nature of business. And because these conversations predate my tenure, I can only relay sort of what
Yes,
I've been
sir.
told. But my understanding is that the company's understanding was that the HOA, which we control, would convey the land. Somehow that did not happen. But the other part of the equation, if you will, is that the company also thought it was grandfathered into the water dedication rights of a third of an acre. So that's kind of what I've been told.
So
And
let's
then-
get legal to look at that.
Yeah. And then just, and so
Yeah.
essentially it's like, well, if those things are true, let's just have it in writing. We were supposed to do this city, like, if everybody agrees that was the conversation, no problem. Let's sign it up so that when somebody replaces me, they don't have to be up here, oh, these
Yeah.
everything's signed up nice and tidy.
But
we
each
have an
one can be
agreement.
looked at individually. So the water tower and the designation of the property can be looked at that. The grandfathering based on the agreement, that can be looked at separately too.
Okay.
So we can take a look at it. Let's legal go ahead and take a look at it based on the agreements. But I'm just
Sure.
letting you know, in a sense of the background, it might be good.
Mhm.
It's before you, but there was an agreement there and about the property being given to
Okay.
the actual city. I remember those discussions, how much it needed to be for us to be able to
Sure.
do all that.
Okay.
So just to give you a little bit,
Yes, sir.
of background on that.
I
Okay?
appreciate it. And I'll just say one more thing. I want to be
Yes,
super
sir.
clear. Like I wasn't there. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying we haven't found the agreement, which is I was like, well, guys, let's just write one and paper it up, which is kind of how we got here. Because we talked to Pick Dawson. I don't know if you guys know Benson Barton Jones. That's our attorney. Like nobody has a copy of the agreement. And I'm an attorney. I'm just like, guys, that's not okay. Like, we need to have this documented.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the back part of like, well, if there really was an agreement to like give the land over, we're not going to sue the city for building a water tower because we told them we were going to give them the land. So that's kind of the waiver of liability, how those things made it in there, as a way of us acknowledging that, like, if we said it, no problem, we will waive, a takings lawsuit because you guys operated under the assumption that you thought we told you we could build on you could build on it. So that's how it all came about. I'm not, again, I don't have that history, but like, to me, this is an opportunity to put in writing the things
Yes,
we
sir.
think we all agree with. That's all.
No, and we totally agree with you.
Awesome.
Totally agree with you.
Zach has my number and email. If y'all need anything from me in the interim, more information. Hey, Taylor, why'd you put this in there? What are you thinking about this? Just let me know and I'll respond.
Yes, sir. Any further discussion or anything? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Thank you.
opposed? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and table it.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir. All right. Let's go ahead and move on, council. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and move on to F, consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 2634, resolution of City Council, City of Lidle, Texas, approving the City of Lidle purchasing policy and procedures manual, authorizing an execution and providing an effective date. Zach.
Pretty self-explanatory.
I did have some questions.
The biggest reason, obviously, of it, other than we don't have anything on the books, is one, the auditors would like us to formalize something. And then two, for us pursuing, getting the actual credit cards, in place, we, want to be able to have that policy as a part of the procurement.
Working on, right? We're trying to.
Yes, yeah, but we can't really move forward until we kind of have the baseline of where to go with it, right? So that's why we were working on the policy, and now we can go, once adopted, actually go find the companies or whatever that makes the most sense for us. So, but yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions that council may have on any part in particular.
The thing was, we were using the term supervisor,
Yes.
and then I kind of found it where it had the credit cards.
Okay.
And I was just saying about making sure that we use the same terminology across the board on there.
Yeah.
No,
So
this is good. This is good.
the idea would be that you have I think where you're referring to is like the department head, and then they could designate another individual. So like, let's just use, sure. So we'll use, PD. So PD you'd have chief as the department head, and he could designate Matt or designate David as the department supervisor. We would need to know that. There would be a list that would be kept by the finance department. So that way we would know that it is a certain individual authorized to make purchases, from that department. But ultimately, we just don't want Tio going and making a purchase with a credit card or anything like that. So,
Or having to buy 2 pallets of paper.
correct.
So the reporting system is gonna differentiate the difference between credit card and the procurement cards or purchasing cards, right?
I'm sorry, say again.
The P cards,
The P
that's a
cards,
gas,
your
right?
procurement cards and your credit card, the in reports, either monthly or annually, whatever it is.
Yes.
It's gonna separate the two.
Yeah, it'll purchases, whether they were via credit card or yes. Yeah,
So you'll keep track of annual fees, transaction fees, rebates,
correct.
any
Correct.
kind of administrative
That'll all
costs.
be on your financial report.
Correct.
Well, Mayor, make a motion that we approve resolution
I'm
26.
not saying anything wrong.
Okay.
I got a motion
She's
on
the
the
finance
floor.
director.
For us to go ahead
As
and approve.
presented.
I got a
and
second.
effective Today's date.
Got a second on that?
I'll second it.
So,
I think you did.
thank you. Okay. So, all right. The only thing I have with that is just go through it and just make sure that we actually use the same
Terminology
terminologies.
throughout. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So on one, the credit card, we say, and their designee. Well, if we're saying the supervisors would be the
Sure.
ones using the card, that say supervisors.
Okay.
That way, the term is actually
Yeah, I can do that.
consistent in the different parts that it actually has. But the only other thing was on the contract management, city departments will send the original bulk contracts to the city secretary and a copy of the finance department for entering into the city's financial system.
Yes.
That paragraph in there, somewhere in there, if you can actually go ahead and put on there for legal.
Okay.
To review.
Yeah.
If we can throw that on there.
Yeah.
To make sure that it says review for contract compliance and for the processing on there. So make sure that we actually incorporate that on there. But it's good. That's good, good. On that. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Let's go ahead and move on to G, consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 2635, resolution of City Council, City of Lytle, Texas, approving an interlocal cooperation contract by and between the Texas Department of Public Safety and the City of Lytle for the use of or the Texas Conviction Reporting TXCR application, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the city administrator to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement and providing an effective date.
Mayor and council, we were sent correspondence by DPS regarding this Texas conviction reporting, something we're already using, but they are changing the interface. And as such, they've asked us to go ahead and enter this new interlocal contract with them. And so this resolution is adopting that contract.
Something we're doing already,
Yes.
just renewing.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, they've asked us to do it.
Legal looked at it already?
I'm sorry.
Has legal looked at it already?
Um,
I imagine all the
no,
cities
this
are
is
doing this.
yeah, I mean, anybody that has convictions, they're gonna, and the final conviction would have to go through this. So yeah. Yeah, this is the DPS. Yeah, yeah.
Everybody,
Yeah.
every municipality is pretty much doing it.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And it just has to be in place before January 1st. So.
So who's gonna be the executor? From what I understand or read, there's gonna have to be one person that gives the authority to the usage of that program or that system.
That would be a municipal.
Yeah.
court.
They would be. Okay,
Yes,
So it's a municipal
yes.
court. Thank you.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve resolution 2635 as presented with effective date of July 27th, 2026.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Okay, yeah, we got a good one. Okay, just for reference, and I do apologize, council, getting on my phone. It looks like we got a pretty good size outage from Wisdom Road going that way on CPS Energy. So,
Gonna go out there, it goes way out in Bear County.
yeah,
Huge area.
so,
Wisdom Road back to Bear County.
It goes all the way over to, actually goes over and touches the Donald Hall. Yeah, and all the way up to, Shepherd Road.
So, yeah, see if we can get somebody on CPS or try to figure out. Okay, let's go ahead and continue so we can go ahead and maybe start tracking that. Oh, and Spectrum, it's also down, just so you know. Of course, power's out, but they saying that Spectrum in general, I guess, around town. So we got a feeder coming through. All right, let's go ahead and move on to H, consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 2637. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Lidle, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of change order number 1 to agreement by and between the City of Lidle, Texas and TACNEC LLC for booster station improvements, providing for incorporation of preamble and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement and providing an effective date. I'm gonna ask for something special just because of something. David, do you mind taking over the council meeting? I just read it. If you can go ahead and work on that, let me get on the phone with CPS Energy. That's a pretty good size, a lot of homes. It's hot. So let me get on the horn and at least get some people working on it, okay?
I
So
just got text, it's on the, to like Houston Street also, so.
yeah, it's pretty big. So let me go ahead and get on the phone if you don't mind.
We'll take a break after this item, okay? Or 8 o'clock break.
Yes, that would be great. If you can just take over
All
that.
right, sure.
Austin, we're good? Okay.
All right, so we're working on item H. The mayor has read this already. Zach, tell us what you got.
Yeah, so this change order is change order, sorry. For this is for the booster station improvements. So there was one butterfly valve that was intended as part of an alternate for the project. It was listed as an alternate because we weren't sure kind of the condition of it because it's underground, obviously. So that was when they started uncovering, that was already slated to be replaced based on that condition. However, given that was the case, and as they started to uncover the three booster pumps that are already out there and the valves associated with those, staff talked to the contractor and they're really not in great condition. And being that the contractor's already out there, we're suggesting, and we asked them to go ahead and, as a part of their project already, go ahead and do up a change order. Obviously, it is a significant cost, but this is bond funded project. So we feel like if we have the funds available for what is there, so they would incorporate that as a part of their already existing project.
That was
So
my next question. Are we good with?
Yeah.
We're okay with that?
So what wasn't clear was this an expected expense on the original bid, or is it now outside of the original scope?
yeah, so this is outside the original scope. One of them was unsure. Just it was listed as an alternate because we weren't sure what the condition was going to be. But when we uncovered that, it was like based on that condition, we expected the other ones probably to be in the same boat. And sure enough, they kind of are. And so we're suggesting to go ahead and take care of those because we don't want to deal with this down the road. We make improvements out there and then, we're
Yeah.
stuck
System's
in a
already open. Yeah.
year's time. They're already out there digging. Year's time, we're in a bad situation. So in talking with Pete and the contractor, it just made a lot of sense to have them go ahead and take care of this.
Well,
But it
is
is outside of the normal scope or intended scope of the contract. Yes.
This 127.5, is it for all 4 valves or the 3 that we're now adding?
It'd be the 3 plus some additional side work that associated
Right,
with that.
but
Yeah.
the first one that they suspected to have to replace.
Correct. That
it
was already
figured in the original amount.
yes, that
Okay,
was
good.
already figured into the bid amount.
And do you know the cost of the original project?
I can get it for you, but I don't know.
Do you know a percentage?
I don't.
Give or
Sorry.
take.
But there's money left in the certificate of obligation that we've allotted to this
we-
project to cover this?
Yeah, we have some funds available within the CO to cover.
So Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve resolution number 26-37, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Lidle, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of change order number 1 to the agreement by and between the City of Lidle, Texas and TACNEC LLC for booster station improvement, CB CSB number 2025-06-03, providing for incorporation of preamble authorizing the mayor to effectuate any and all documents necessary. Oh, I'm sorry, to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such an agreement and providing for effective date today of July the 27th, 2026.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second on the motion?
Second.
All right, Matthew seconds that. Any further discussion on this?
You're done.
Get it done. No more going up.
All right,
No.
if there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, no opposed, so the vote passes.
Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to make a motion to take a break.
We don't need a motion for that. Let's take a break.
You take a motion on recess. Time on it, or you say recess?
Well, we normally just
40
say take a break, right?
40 minutes.
So.
We need a motion?
Make a motion to have
Just for the minutes, so.
about 15 minutes.
15-minute break.
15-minute break. Okay, so I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Let's take a break.
Okay, let's go ahead and shoot.
Mic on,
Let's go
man.
ahead and show.
Mike?
Thank you. Let's go ahead and show 8:20 returning from break. And thanks again, Council and David. Appreciate that. And just for those that were listening before, power is back on for the whole city. So glad that we were able to take care of that. Let's go ahead and move on and look at I, consideration and possible action concerning ordinance number 26-11, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lytle, Texas, granting a petition for incorporation of hereinafter described property into the extraterritorial jurisdiction of City of Lytle, Texas, and extending the boundary limits of the said extraterritorial jurisdiction to include said herein after described property and granting to all inhabitants of said property all the rights and privileges offered by law and binding said inhabitants by all the acts, ordinance, resolution, laws, and regulations of the City of Lytle and the state that may be applied or enforced within the extraterritorial jurisdiction. Zach.
All right, so Mayor and Council, we had a petition request from the property owners of the Dale's Grass property, which is Rowan Lytle LLC. Most of this property is already within the ETJ. However, on the northwest kind of corner, there's a portion that was excluded for whatever reason. When they extended the ETJ, or they requested it last time, they didn't include this parcel. So they're asking for this to be included now. And in order just to make sure it was all included, they're including all the parcels listed for the Dale's Grass property, which they own. And the exhibit of that is shown in the exhibit A of their request. So all of that would be incorporated into the ETJ. Like I said, most of it already is. Just a small portion is out of
That corner that was left off.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird, like, it kind of cuts through at a semicircle kind of across it. And so it's just a portion that's left out. So and that's all this request is.
Okay.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2611 as presented with today's date of July 27th, 2026.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, council. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and move on. J, consideration and possible action concerning ordinance number 2612, an ordinance of City Council, City of Lytle, Texas, amending Chapter 8, Building and Building Regulations, Article 8, Rapid Energy Identification Systems, providing a penalty for any violations of the ordinance and providing a repealer clause and a severity clause and an effective date. Zach.
All right. Well, Mayor and Council, I guess this is like the third or fourth iteration that we have it on here now. We went back and we have we did the city attorney and I met with Gabe Garcia, who originally obviously brought this as an idea to us. And based on his feedback and everything that was discussed, we're making the following, suggested changes. So what I did is I went ahead and removed. I still removed the sticker, the actual visual of the sticker, just because even since his iteration last time, he's changed things a couple different times, and so I don't want to be just stuck with one particular sticker look in there. But as long as that, what we did is we did say that the sticker may be purchased from a READ approved vendor, so that way it's always falling back to the program. The program then dictates what ultimately is being provided for by that sticker.
When you guys met with him, he understands that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so, and then based on the conversation, we also just wanted to make sure that there was clearly identified that it was residence or commercial business installing a system identified under this article. So, and then he had also, since meeting the very first time with us, he'd also gone in and added, and this is where, again, the idea of removing the stickers, visual sticker had come from, was he since has added like electric vehicle backup. So he's continually, this is evolving as, you know, it kind of goes. So I wanted to add that particular in there since he had already identified that as well. So you'll see the changes reflected in the ordinance. So this ordinance, since we still have the ordinance on the books in Chapter 8, this is just modifying and amending those particular sections as identified in the ordinance. You know, based on, and city attorney can correct me if I'm wrong, but based on our feedback, it sounds like, you know, Gabe was on board with everything that we had discussed. So.
Good. Good. So from this point on, just to make sure, from this point on, that would be the thing to do, but we don't need to worry about those that happen before it's an option, whether or not, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, and we'll work on, you know, education if they want to go do that,
we
you
need
know,
to-
on their
we need
own
to-
side, but ultimately it's just from this point forward, this is what would be required.
I know some of the council was mentioning about that too, you know, in a
Yeah.
sense, but we definitely want to get the information out. We got to inform people that it's a very solid program, be able to kind of help our folks know, and especially our first responder and our public works folks to actually know when they arrive on scene. And I'm glad that they, you know, I didn't even think about it, but that's a good one about the electric vehicle backup too.
It's separate from the ordinance, or you pay with it, it's works, it's like go along with the product itself, it's like training module for
Yeah.
whoever people are there, responders or contractors.
Yeah, he said, I know one of the things that you mentioned, Councilman, was, you know, speaking to our first responders already and speaking to our fire marshal and to our fire chief and stuff like that. And one of the things he was kind of waiting on was he had spoken to them, but, you know, implementing any sort of training or anything like that was kind of waiting on what the city was going to do from an ordinance standpoint, you know, so he has had those conversations, but actually implementing a training program for those first responders once it's been approved fully. I know he's in the works with other cities, including the city of San Antonio, to do the same thing. It's just kind of waiting on us and probably use our language as a guinea pig, you know, honestly, with those other cities. So
Is this something we could send out a flyer in the monthly utilities bill to
Yeah.
give people who already established a chance to do it just for safety
For sure.
purposes?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, and we, you know, that's part of the training and everything. We can work with him and get literature to include in our bills. Yes, sir. You're correct.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve this ordinance number 2612 as presented to make changes to Chapter 8.
Effective date.
Yes, effective date of today, July 27th, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second? Second. On the motion?
Yeah, I'll second it.
You got a second?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Got a second. I appreciate that. Okay, anything else, discussion?
So where in this documentation does it state it's a requirement and the necessary steps to satisfy the requirement?
as far as, I mean, so it's as a part of Chapter 8, which
So we're
is.
grandfathering in, or we're allowing existing systems not to have to put the REIT system up.
Mhm.
If we're allowing or grandfathering existing systems, that means we're requiring new systems to have the REIT system.
Yeah.
And I see there's a location there, was it like 8-437 placements?
Yeah.
Of the stickers.
Yeah.
But where in this language does it say who is required to do this?
Well, so this is adopted in the buildings and building regulations section, so which governs all of our buildings, permitting, all that kind of stuff.
So it
So
would be residential and commercial?
correct,
That this would be referenced from?
correct. Yes.
Anybody pulling a permit to install.
Any kind of system identified would have that
And the
requirement.
effective is based on the date of the day.
Right. So it was my request or consideration that the city would provide these stickers or approve a vendor Here, we're stating that they have to go, whoever's requesting it has to go to find their approved, vendor.
That's
Why
correct.
is it that we left that part out?
The city can't be a approved vendor. We can buy 1,000 stickers.
So why wasn't that included in this? Because that was one of my requests, that be included in this language.
That's the portion you just read.
So what Austin's saying is the city could be considered an approved vendor. So we don't have to state that the city is an approved vendor. We are considered an approved vendor.
So we would have stock of these stickers.
We could, if council
No,
so
no,
chose. so.
That's what I'm trying to establish.
That's
here.
up to council. If council wants me to go
Yeah,
buy
that's
1,000, I'll go
what-
buy
that's what I was
1,000.
asking
But
for
that's
in
that's
that
up to that's a
meeting.
council decision.
Yeah, that
yeah.
we should have them in stock.
Yeah.
So that way when what I'm trying to do is make it easy for the homeowner, because the
Yeah.
homeowner has solar, they have a Generac, what do you call it, generator.
Yeah.
I don't want them to have to go through the hoops and try to get stickers and where to put. The city should have that provided along with a cheat sheet of how to and where to mount these. I don't see that here. It wasn't mentioned.
It's not, because we're basically keeping it general enough that it's a approved vendor and the city could be that approved vendor.
Well, I don't want.
but it
to
doesn't
be-
necessarily have to
Could be. I want it to be that way. Do you
So
see what
right,
I'm
I'm
getting
with
at?
you, but right now we're looking at the ordinance itself.
Right.
This is just putting it in there.
And
for
why
us to be
couldn't the
able to do
ordinance state that the city will also be a approved vendor?
Because then if we identify the city, we need to identify the other sources. By
Like
leaving
what,
it,
like
yeah, you
what?
would have to identify the other sources.
Well, I'm just talking
I
about
mean,
the stickers themselves. I'm not talking about anything
So-
else but the
So
stickers.
two parts. So the education portion of it and letting them know where they can get them because they already have the system, that's one thing, okay? And we can do that with portion. You gotta understand that from this point on with this, it's whenever somebody's gonna go ahead and put a system in and they
This
come pull
requires
the permit, the contractor has to obtain that, okay? The contractor,
But in
whoever
this,
it
but
is.
in the case of a resident, it's not a contractor.
So there may be a situation where someone has already bought, like if I'm installing things every day, I'm not gonna buy them one at a time. I'm gonna go buy my own 1,000. Correct. Keep them in the truck, right? Slap on the thing when I'm installing it. If some individual wants to come, the city can provide them. It was a pass through anyways, the way they got posted. We told her they pay $8 a sticker. So I make money on them.
No, and it wasn't a money-making proposition. It
Yeah.
was just simply a
You know,
convenience for the citizens. I'm looking at the citizen. I'm not looking at the contractors. I'm not
Are
looking
you
at
talking about the
commercials.
citizens in the past or citizens in the
Both.
future?
Both.
I'm gonna disagree with you. The citizens of the future don't need to worry about it. The citizens of the future are gonna have to pull a contractor with a permit and then they're gonna deal with it.
But if I have a home, let's say I purchase a home in the subdivision, and then a year from now, 2 years from now, I want to go ahead and do solar. That's on me.
You can install it.
No, I can't install it, but that's on me
Contractor.
trying to
have
get
to have
the
a-
contract.
You still have a
to
permit.
happen.
You still have to have
Yeah, but that contractor's
The
gonna
contractor
come.
has to go get the permit.
Okay,
The contractor's gonna go get the stickers.
okay,
This
so
is-
where does it state in here, the permit?
Well, that's part of building 8 or chapter
That's-
8.
That's a building. and-
That's in that
regulations.
chapter.
It's already.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah. It's already built in the chapter. This
Okay.
is just a section
I'm with
within
you
that
with the
chapter.
past, and we're gonna do that with the education and take care of them. But in the future, it's gonna be just like anything. If you're gonna install something, they're gonna need to come pull permits, and when they pull permits, that contractor is gonna be responsible. Once they
getting
see
stickers.
that we use the rapid energy identification system, they're gonna have to get the,
They'll add it to your bill.
So then a Generac system that has to be installed by a commercial, a contractor?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
You can't do it yourself.
and,
Yeah, you
and,
can, sure you can.
no,
No.
and it has to be inspected.
Yeah, 'cause you're talking
You
a
have
whole,
electrical tents that you do that by a license.
the Generac, they come and do a whole setup like.
They have to come get a permit, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so I guess that's part that I don't see.
Yeah,
Because
so-
if I go out there and I get a generator, I go to Harbor Freight and I get the new generator and I bring it to the house and I put a conversion box to go tie into the
Well, but
meter.
that's a whole.
I don't
different-
have to contact CPS.
That's a whole different
to do that.
generator though. We're talking one that
But
automatically.
it's
kicks
a
on by
backup
itself.
system, but it's a backup system. And it could be running when an emergency happens.
if you're connecting it without getting anybody in.
You don't have to get CPS
If-
involved when you do an interconnect.
If it's
outside of the
plugging-
box.
Yeah, if you're plugging, that's fine.
Yeah,
But remember, this is with the home and this is with the panels.
yeah, this is
So-
like
Yeah.
tying
When
into
you-
the actual CPS, the panel,
Yeah.
all that. That's what this is
Okay, yeah,
controlling.
I understand that.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Then
yeah.
the question was back to me.
Yeah.
Was if I'm doing this on my own,
Yeah.
doing my own interconnect
The,
outside of the utility box, which I
yeah,
am
those.
able to do that as a homeowner.
So those, you're probably not subject to this.
No.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
you're not getting a permit. You're not doing those kind of things.
But it's just,
I mean,
I just
yeah.
getting the fact that it's still just as dangerous to the first responder.
I would agree, but yeah, I mean.
If you wanted to come get a sticker to support public safety, that's a great idea.
Sure.
We're not gonna require it by law.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just want to make this as simple as possible. I don't want these to go out and say, well, this is the system. You should have known about it. You're gonna get fined and so
No.
forth when you
No.
when you have a new home. But like the mayor said, it's.
I got better things
under
to do.
a contractor, I understand that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when the contractor comes in, he has to abide by whatever the
Yes, I'll let
city
Frank
ordinances
handle
are.
yeah, that's what my
It's
code.
all, it's all gonna be taken care of.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
just
think
like anything.
we're on the same page. It's
Okay.
just, yeah. No, it's,
Just like even with the electrical vehicle, if you wanna put one in there, the contractor will need to come for a
Yeah.
permit.
And you have to have a contractor to install the outlet?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
yeah,
have to be
Tesla,
certified.
like Tesla normally
Has
pulls
to
all
be certified.
No, I know
the
Tesla,
contractor
because
will
Tesla's a
those,
unique
yeah.
system.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about Chevy and all those others.
Well, normally those contractors will, yeah, that do.
They
that.
have
Almost like
Yeah,
including
yeah.
when you buy the car.
I mean, you can laugh all you want, but to the common citizen,
No,
they don't know this.
I hear you. I hear
And,
you.
and what I'm trying, the reason I'm up here, the reason I'm sitting behind this desk.
Yeah.
Is to make sure that everybody understands.
100%,
You know, the laws and the regulations.
100%.
So I just want to clarify that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's what's happening here.
No, we're on the same page.
Sounds good?
We got a good catch net.
Thank you, Mayor.
That's how it works, right? To be able to do that. All right, any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All, and we have one is.
I didn't, yeah, I didn't. that's why
Yeah,
I-
so we can
abstaining,
go ahead
yeah.
and show abstain. All yeas. All right, awesome. Keep working. Austin and Zach, please work with Gabe. Let's go ahead and take care of business, what we need to do. And then for the other stuff too, in a sense of just the training portion of it too. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to K, consideration and possible action concerning approving the City of Lidle Annual Awards Committee Chairperson. Council would like to go ahead and ask for a motion for us to go ahead and nominate Mr. Rodriguez,
I'll make that motion.
Councilman Rodriguez, to go ahead and be
I'll
the
second that.
first, second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Oh,
Any
I don't know if I
opposed?
vote on that.
You can.
You abstained. It's all good. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Let's take a look at L, and this is consider impossible action concerning the award of bid for the City of Lidle police vehicle to Frank. Frank got it.
Frank was the high bid, so
My
we're
goodness.
obviously recommending awarding the sealed bid to Frank Reyes for the Lidle police vehicle. So
Mayor, make a
The
motion that we
Dodge.
approve
The Dodge.
selling the vehicle to Frank Reyes. For the amount
I'll
listed.
second that.
Got a second, okay? Any conversation?
He's got to use it for code compliance stuff.
Just don't tell Frank, Matt and I approved it. okay?
Yeah,
Just in case it-
He's gonna go like, I mean, if he uses it, well, he's got the hoopty mobile,
he has the
but
hoop.
if he,
It's for his personal use.
he'll be a lot
personal
faster
use.
going around the city, right? You'll do that. All right, with all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All yays. All right. Awesome. Congrats, Frank. Got to be happy. That's a nice little vehicle. Not bad at all. All right, M, briefing and discussion concerning quarterly investment report for period ending the 30th of June, 2026. I know this is our requirement.
so this is the second quarter of 2026, but as far as the fiscal year, it is the third. Yeah, it's a little small. Okay, as you can see, there's the interest for text pool with all the deposits and withdrawals. The withdrawal was a large payment we made on a project. That's what that was. And of course, the 5 million was the bond money. Was it 6 million? I did put all 6 in there. One thing that's not listed on there, and Zach and I have discussed, and just so you know, in the money market account that was set up at the bank, in the 3 months, it was a total of $35,708.49. So probably next quarter, we will add that on here also.
So we
since-
got 2.
Was it a full 3 months?
Right.
It's left off, but now we don't know.
That's the one that they agreed to
Correct.
The
increase.
2 million,
That's correct. That's
yes.
the one
Okay.
I don't say.
Is that, you said 30 for 3 months,
It's 35,000.
35?
And that's the interest?
Yes.
And here on the text poll, it's 25, 26 a month. Is that what it's showing? Am I reading that right? Yeah.
Yes.
But of course, that it's a little bit different. Right? I mean, like, put that 6 million in there, so it's not 100.
That's
So
where a lot
is
of
this
it's
something-
going.
It's not a true comparison,
Well-
apples to apples. But
It's still,
So, okay, so the interest, those 3 right there.
Yes,
yeah, the pretty long ones.
yes.
Okay. Got it.
still something.
Mhm.
Okay,
It's a lot of money.
council?
So the large portion of the chart, the pie chart, that's
Oh,
part of
that's
this?
in the financial.
Okay, then I'll wait.
Okay.
I did get it correct.
And now moving into,
Okay, with that in mind,
There's no approval, it's just a brief.
just briefing? Okay, so we don't need to approve it or anything. Okay, awesome. Any questions, council? Okay, let's go ahead and move on to number 6, and, well, since you're already there we
I
go.
guess there's.
it was, I thought it
Let's
was
go ahead and go right into there.
But it's also in,
in her presentation.
Right. Oh, we don't have our.
it actually was, but I don't know why it's so small.
Okay. Ugh. I redid these and they're still smaller.
There. Try to fix- Oh, there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Oh, I can't see the difference on mine. As you can tell, this last month, we did go in the negative over the revenues, but that is an overall total of all funds. Still looking good. I mean, our utilities, oh, wait a minute, that's a different one. General fund is doing good. Sales tax, as you know, has done very well, and it continues to go up each month. I think this last month
Talk
was
to,
nine
I've talked
percent.
to a few of our business folks in here, but we've, with the, construction crews, the different crews that we have that are coming in here with some of the major projects, they've been spending a lot more. They see them really stocking up and using some of our sources, or whether it's waters or Gatorades or any of the above on there. So this is good. There's another source where we're getting a little bit more.
Hotel is on the same track. It's goes up 1 month, down another month, but for the most part, it's on track.
Good.
Utilities, well,
Water.
that's a different story. So we are currently down in the difference of $544,000. We've had a lot of repairs that were not budgeted for. And that would be in the water and actually the sewer.
Well, this year, we had that map, they took care of it. That's where a lot of funds went to take care of all those leaks that we had for a long period of time.
And they even had additional ones in July, so we'll see those next month. That's that. Okay, this is the text pool. I did provide Zach with the sample because I guess you want to see more percentage wise.
It's just when you review it, you really don't get a good picture of what the number is, like the solid blue, when you try to cross-reference to the reference lines, it's hard to tell what color belongs to what. So, I mean, percentages would be good, but I don't know, including the table, if that's not proprietary information.
Or what
No.
actual labels of the work they are.
Yeah,
And where the share.
yeah, exactly.
Broken.
And what is the dark blue section there?
That's that bond money.
The bond money, 6, okay.
Yes, that's the $6 million. And that's what kind of throws everything
Yeah.
off. But I can add the dollar amounts down in the bottom. I
That would
can
work.
do that, and then I can also do the percentages.
Yeah, you could round it, however you would like to label it.
On, and then your bigger green one is they're on, it's a street fund. Street.
So basically your blue is at $5 million and the green is the 1 million.
Oh, yeah, 6, 5, and 1,
Yeah,
okay.
because they're one's utility. So that's
But it looks good, thank you.
I can fix that next time. This is a new chart I kind of broke down for y'all. I did do a little bit of digging into the idle addresses because I thought that was an awful lot. But basically, those are old meters that are either just still in the ground, but they're not active. They're all inactive. I did work with Public Works and had them do a sample of the meters. And the majority of them were closed in like 2015. So there was one meter that did have some usage on it or some consumption on it. All the other ones though were no change. So we've got to look into that one, but it was very minor over the last 10 years.
So predating a lot of personnel here, Mayor, we did have that push where we were gonna charge for the meters. And if they didn't want to pay for it, we were gonna remove them. So obviously, we did not remove all of them.
Yeah, so letters did go out before I got here.
Right.
Correspondence from Matt had some.
And if they chose to keep the meter, then they would play
You have-
the base.
Like if you look at the utility books, like the meter books, there are some that are highlighted where are those specific ones where they said they elected to keep the meter and they are getting charged a meter fee.
Right.
These 163 are listed as inactive in the system, so nothing's being charged, nothing's happening. But I can tell you that with just a little bit of digging of a few of them, Pete and I went out with Austin as well in Public Works. Those meters are still, some meters are still in the ground and just not being used, and obviously nothing's being charged. So I think there's just a lot more to be done on that effort, and just some things that we need to kind of investigate and look at.
So
Do
the
some more work.
potential of stealing water may be there because the meter's there. We would meter it. I mean, obviously, we would see it, but then the homeowner said, hey,
It's an inactive account.
I'm not paying
It's
for
an
it.
inactive account. So
Yeah.
we would never see.
So if somebody,
They do not
We
read
wouldn't
these
read it.
meters.
We don't read these meters, so
so maybe
I
we should
think-
focus
I
on
think
getting them
it's- I
removed.
think it'll probably be
there's more.
eventually.
Yes.
I think there's steps because if you have a meter that is missing a lock and it was locked before, that's one conversation that we
Right.
gotta have. If somebody modified the meter and they're getting water and it's not reading, that's another discussion that goes along. I think we're gonna need to take a look at each one and make sure that there's nothing flowing through. By cutting it, you cut it on one end and see even with a lock if it's actually doing, if there's any kind of modifications, make sure everything is good. And then there's a disconnect. So we know that there's nothing flowing out of there.
Yeah, but the idea was to get away from, where's this water going?
Yeah.
If we have water that we can't account for,
100%.
You're
and
correct.
then we have meters out there.
That's the first thing I thought when she pulled this chart up and she showed me. I said,
Yeah,
"Uh,
well, where's
that's
those
something
number
we
coming
need to
from?
look
Yeah.
at," You know, because that was my first thought. So,
right.
yes, we are,
Okay.
we are
And
definitely
this
looking
is
into that.
her and her staff bringing up something that had been sitting there and everybody said, oh, never, you don't need to worry about those. You don't need
Which I
to worry
did
about
confirm
those.
that they're being, usage right now.
They did a
Most of them-
sample.
Most of them don't have any usage, some might, so that's, again, it's just.
Now, keep in mind, the statement was made, we don't necessarily read them. Okay,
So those are things we just need to identify them one by one, figure out where they're at, figure out what the need is, figure out when we shut them off, what the need was.
And we
Thank you.
have all that information. I
No,
have
I'm
a
pretty
full
sure you-
list.
y'all are top of
But I
it.
think
Thank
you need,
Yes.
you don't just want to remove the meter. I think you want to disconnect and determine if the meter is doing anything, because then you can determine whether or not the meter.
Well, the thing is, if we remove the meter, we're gonna replace it with one of the new ones, that they're outdated. There's no reason
But-
for them to
but
be
you
out
don't
there
need-
other than
These
losing
are-
You don't need to
manpower.
replace it if it's not being used. See what I'm saying?
So you can't remove it with, you can't just do like a, what do you call it? Yeah, there you go.
You
Thank
could, but the first part is we want to see what the meter is doing. You don't want to remove the meter without knowing what was on there. If we know that there was.
Yeah, I'm just getting at the fact if the resident where the meter's sitting, am I in a bargain mood today or what?
Sounds like it.
If the resident has already stated that they didn't want the meter, right? That they weren't gonna pay to have it on their residency.
Sure.
Then it should be removed.
But I can tell you based on what they found, these people probably have not been asked.
And
It's
that's,
very
that's,
possible.
that's,
There's some lots that are
So just
vacant.
stand by.
yeah.
We want the council
We
to
can get on top of this.
be aware, and there's that number of meters, and they're gonna do the due diligence, and they're gonna figure out what is the right thing.
So your
And then-
project there, getting the water leaks was a big
And then the next
success.
meeting,
That
people
took
bring
a
us
lot
a-
of our waste away. So now we need to start looking at these meters.
In the next meeting, Pete will bring us a report on those that he went and checked and everything. 163 that he checked before the next meeting, right?
Possible.
Yeah, and how many you capped or what you did to them, right? Okay, there you go.
And-
thank you.
to-
Stacked, it's pulled out, okay, stack them up.
And to be, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but we did only do 5, but I pulled this report on Wednesday and we pulled a sample that day. And of course, I was on vacation the rest of the week, so it was something very short notice, but we wanted to have answers for y'all, so.
Thank you, it was good.
So that will be the report from now on.
No, that's good, and that's
The,
good. We'll just tackle them.
The expenses for the hot, it was 52,270. That was because of all the fireworks and all this other stuff we recently had, right?
City events.
That would,
Community center.
Music fest.
And don't forget the fireworks also can get a donation from wastewater or waste.
right,
management.
yeah, that was the majority of where that comes from, but
I have to go back, but we can get you the breakdown. But music festival is the line check. That's
Okay.
not-
It's under the community.
Yeah, fireworks come out.
Yes.
yeah, 'cause I was just looking at the revenue was 72 and that the expenses were about 52.
Oh, well, no, we made a payment probably for the
Just the-
the light. So that's
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, any questions? Sorry.
Good job. Keep us posted. Paula,
Hello.
here we go.
Mine's are always simple. The other way. We had a collection of 5,000. Actually, that was probably the lowest we had for, it's almost the end of it, but we're gonna start again in September for the ad valorem taxes. We didn't receive anything for the beer and wine or the beverage license. We're still on zero on those. This was just the meetings that I had, that we attended, just the holiday. And I had a bi-monthly meeting with the Alamo chapter. My request for records, we had 7 and I fulfilled 7, so year to date I have 24. And this was just the agendas that were published and minutes that were completed. One of them was not completed on time, but it was completed now. Resolutions passed for 6. And I don't know what that is. Oh, there you go. Look good. Why am I going
Municipal
back?
court, right?
There you go. This is the municipal court. These are just our citations and violations that were for the month of June. Your total will be the higher one towards the end. We didn't have that many for the month of June.
Uh-oh.
And we had 162 total transactions for $21,000. And there were sent 57 to collections for $2,000 that were collected. And that's it for me. Going to that. Any questions?
Any questions? When did you guys do the roundup? Was that May or June?
May.
Oh, it's been longer than that?
Mhm. May. April. I think it was April, May.
I was just wondering, see if the numbers, when they reflected.
But you're gonna- it's wonderful.
Mhm.
I was just wondering, see how
Might
much,
have been the May report from April. Second year, April.
I was just wondering. Okay, anything for Paula?
Yep.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. Okay, Zach. Right. Pretty in pink color.
All right. Obviously we did change order on the booster station and the 12-inch main tonight. Elevated, y'all heard last council meeting, looks like moved to September. But everything is tracking obviously on those. Still hopefully to wrap everything up before the end of the fiscal year, hopefully on all 3 of those projects, which would be good. As far as the new certificate, obviously, the water well, talked with the engineer, or I've been
Bless you.
talking with the engineer. We should be releasing those bid documents for that in August. We're wrapping all that up and getting that ready to be sent out next week to the newspaper and to post and everything. And then obviously we spoke tonight on the street repairs, so we'll continue on those conversations. As far as developments, Saddle Ridge continues to build those homes out there with D.R. Horton. So we have obviously the one under construction in phase 5. That's their model home, and then the remaining in phase 2, 10 under construction, and then 3 were under review when I pulled the numbers last week.
So 13 is for the new building.
Yes. Yeah. Well, actually, I guess 14 because the
demo.
the model. So, Rosewood, 115 completed, 25 under construction, 16 were under review. And as you kind of heard tonight, was contacted through Scott with TRC that Pape Dawson, as of today, is exploring and starting to really move forward on starting phase 2, because they are kind of starting to move towards the front end, kind of around the model home for Rosewood, and they're the rate they're going, they're going to start running out of lots to build on in phase one. So they'd like to probably tackle that in 2 separate phases, it sounds like. So they'll be probably resubmitting preliminary plats again to match that phasing appropriately up with final platting. But sounds like we'll be starting that hopefully pretty soon on that front. So Lytle Farms, really no big update here. We continue to hear things here and there from the new development partner. Even today, the mayor and I got an email from Samco, Mark McCliney, which is our financial advisors, who also is involved in this project. And they're being contacted to kind of wrap up some of the questions on the PID information for that project. So I'm sure we'll start to see some of that kind of rear its ugly head here soon. So more to come on those conversations. Other developments, Mint and Project Tract are really the 2 big ones that are kind of coordinating right now. So those are the 2 out in the Bexar County section. They're working together to kind of figure out how to get utilities to both of those projects. And so we've kind of coordinated meetings amongst them and let them kind of figure out how that's going to work amongst them and going from there. So we just kind of turned it over to them. Lytle Estates is kind of dependent on Lytle Farms, so that's kind of out of hold. And then Project Cinco continues obviously to work, but we are working with them on the sewer agreement so we can get that in place before they turn over obviously that development to start working over there inside the building. So which is fastly approaching. Applications received, pretty simple, but obviously you see the big number there, 17 new homes for the month, and then permits issued, 25 new homes, and then just the small little residential and commercial additions. So pretty simple there. Inspections for the month, certificate of compliance down there, and then the inspections on the right. Code compliance for the month, 22 ordinance violations that he'd been working. You see 9 bulk violations, 10 high weeds and grass, and then 3 failure to display address. And with the breakdown there, calls for service, patrol miles, and everything. Yeah, he's a busy guy, especially with the rain. It's been keeping him busy. So all these lots overgrown.
Hope he's moving.
Yeah. So as far as contracts, nothing super big to report here. Obviously, as I've communicated, I did send a letter to the yard maintenance guy, letting him know that we will be terminating that, as of September 30th. And staff will be obviously taking over that as we've discussed in the past. So we will not be renewing that contract. Everything else kind of remains on here. I am working on a new, if looking at the contract for brush collection, we've kind of run out of our renewals that were anticipated as a part of that. So I'm working on getting an RFP together so we can get that all out there. And then I did, as you can see, I know it sounds like really far out, but waste management is 10/31/2027. That's really not that far in waste world. So I assume, and I would like some feedback from y'all if the intention is to go ahead and go out for an RFP for that process. And because that does take quite some considerable amount of time, and I'm going to need to start working on that if that is the case. So I would like some feedback from council if that is the case. Otherwise, the idea would just be to look at renewing with them. Not saying that RFP we won't renew with Waste Management, but ultimately it does take some time during that RFP process. So yeah, I'll run through it, and then if y'all can add anything at the end there. Meetings on the left, and just some general notes on the right there on holidays and then upcoming events. project updates. So got some information on the drainage plan. So they're hopefully wrapping some of that up. With the big project being, like we talked about, the Benton City. So they have some options. And so I'll be meeting here in the next couple of weeks with them to look over some of that. But they'll be kind of getting all the final report together for us for the end of the fiscal year. We obviously awarded the Greenco concrete for the emergency interconnects. We're working with them on obtaining all those materials for that. Working with the committee on the capital improvement plan, website changes ongoing. I met with the GLO rep for the comprehensive plan grant on July 22nd. That project is moving forward. There'll be some items on the next council meeting to get some things approved from y'all that are required for that. And also sending out an RFP for us to get the grant administration services in place. So that'll be out on the market here soon. Sidewalk project continues. DSAL project, I have communicated our requests and have not heard back yet. So that doesn't sound very promising. And then the secondary access, I mean, maybe that is their response. I don't know. And then the secondary access is complete. The road is there. So yeah, so that'll be falling off.
You like it? Well, now you can
Now
get
we
to it. You
complain
can
with
get to
us.
it. So now it's road this way, and then you got the one that connects in the back, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is awesome. So now when we get a lot of water, you can come in this way, other way, and still get to it, right? That's great. That's awesome.
That's all
So
I
is
got.
that access road open or is it gonna be closed?
So there's a gate.
Saddle Ridge.
There's a gate on the Saddle Ridge side. So only for emergency purposes. Yeah. So it's locked.
It's emergency.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good to be able to get that way.
Better access to the range.
Who has the key? Right now, Pete. I'm assuming PD might have. Do you know this? To the Saddle Ridge side? Okay. Oh, it's all the same key. So yes. So I have key. Pete has key. PD has key.
Coming out of Coleman.
Yeah. Saddle Ridge.
Oh, it's the same lot?
Saddle Ridge.
But
It's a tiny key.
okay. I think they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. It's the city lock. So yeah, they
Fire
do.
has one too. right?
Fire would have one too. Yeah.
Yeah. So as long as they got it, that's good.
That's it. Unless y'all have any questions, concerns.
I just gotta say, from my input, I just say we do need to go out to bid for waste management.
That's fine. I just need time to do it. So that's why I just want to make sure like
It's not easy,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
think we need to make sure that we're getting the best that we can.
oh my gosh. I
You're gonna
don't
have
want
to
to buy
find
that
it.
truck. I don't want to buy the trucks. I don't want to buy the
That's supposed to be,
that's a utility I
that's
don't
supposed to
want.
be a retaining pond. All right. The council, anything for Zach? All right, thank you so much, sir. Let's go ahead and move on to item number 7, informational items. Here we go.
Thank you, Mayor, for the appointment of chairperson for the Annual Citizenship Award Committee. Got some work coming up. We still need some volunteers. I guess each alderman has the status of their appointee and they'll be getting back with me to get their appointment. And if, like I said before, if anybody is interested in being on the Annual Citizenship Award Committee, please notify your alderman.
Yep. Definitely selection, council, and the other thing too is please get the word out. Sometimes we have unsung heroes that we miss out. This is the time to get them. Let's start talking to them, and it's very simple nomination package. It's nothing complicated, but let's recognize those folks that actually take care of the community.
And those will be available beginning on October the 1st, and they're available online or come by the city. And I believe we're gonna even put them in the utility buildings.
You good?
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Paula? Nothing at all. Vaughn, back there. Sandra? Next Wednesday, starting at 10, right? Woohoo! I know, be prepared. Might have to call police if we get a lot of cars out there. Actually, that one is a little bit more spread out. So you're right. You get a little bit of wave. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
He'll be out there. It's like he'll show up with a driver. It's like, what are you doing, Richie? This is putt putt, man. Anything to share? Informational?
We close applications on Friday. We've been running it for a month.
You got a few? No.
We have a couple good possibilities.
Okay.
I'm hoping it'll fire up between now and Friday.
Oh, good.
So we're-
Good. Excellent. That's good.
One in the academy filling it out in November. But at this point, I mean, we'll work with whatever. The right person for the job is out there. We just gotta
Mobile.
Very good.
find somebody.
Ooh, Pete. Double. Give him double badge, huh? We have double badge.
But that's about it. We're glad to get rid of the charge.
Is this tomorrow when the Charger leaves? Is that what?
He's got.
Oh, he's got to pay.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Hey, the biggest question is, did we find the title? Okay, so you remember that one? That was an interesting.
No, that's about all we've got going on. Been relatively slow. Of course, we're preparing, we'll be firing up and that'll be kind of more people in town and more activity.
It's gonna get busier for us. All right. Austin, anything?
No.
Nothing? Nada. All right. First of all, thanks to David for coverage and especially Public Works PD and Zach for the severe weather coverage. When I was actually departing, we were still dealing with some of that stuff. So thank you for doing that and taking care of that. Thanks to Public Works for taking care of a water leak that affected a good section of our city over in the north side. We were down for a few hours, but the guys took care of it. We were able to minimize it. We kept the system balanced, so we never lost the system. We didn't have to go into a boil notice and anything like that. So kudos on them. So we wouldn't have to do that to our residents. I want to say congrats to Coach Reese and our athletic director, Coach Wilson, on the recognition. We got one that got recognized at the state level as one of the by the association of being a coach of the year, of winning the state for cross country. So that was pretty cool. And then AD Coach Wilson, she got recognized at her school in was it the Hall of Honor. So that was pretty cool too, being able to see that. So a lot of kudos for our folks here. We got animal control yard sale happening on the 1st of August at the community center this weekend. Pass the word out. I know Melinda's working. She's going to help us out with a flyer too. Another flyer. They already had one. There'll be another one, but yeah, at the community center is going to have this is a major fundraiser for the animal care and control facility along with Lido Allies. St. Andrews has got the chicken plate sale on the 2nd of August. I think, if I'm not mistaken, either the 1st or the 2nd, but they have one going on. We got the mini golf on the 5th. Return to school on the 6th. So after they play golf, and then they go back to the staff shows up, and that's going to be our convocation. Is that right, Paula? The 6th. Yeah, the 6th, right? Yep. So we got convocation, and then the students get back on the 11th of August, right around the corner. Give you a heads up because it was very successful. Tommy Joe's will be hosting another young entrepreneurs market on the 27th of August on Saturday. Last one, that was pretty good. They did really good. The kids, they're building their crafts, making the cookies and all that other stuff. So it's a great way to get them started and being able to sustain themselves. So that was pretty good. And it was good to know here recently, we have one that is now working. She started doing her stuff here in Lido when she was a high school student. She went to college. She kept doing it. She graduated. Now she's starting her full-time job, and she's still doing it as a side thing. So, and she said she loves it and it's helped her out. So we got to encourage stuff like that, especially when it helps our kids out through college. That's a good stuff. 19 September, we got the homecoming parade and block party. We're going to get started here pretty soon with a lot of the advertisement and reminding folks about what's going on with that. And then on the following week, we got the 27th of September, we got the church festival. So back to back on our PD, we're going to be busy with two major events happening here in Lytle in September. Birthdays, we got Paul on the 1st of August. It's over at the PD. So those are the ones I have. Any last minute? Nope. All right, let's go ahead and move on to item number 8, executive session. The City Council, of the City of Lytle may convene in an executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and 551.074, personal matters, to discuss and consider the following items: A, discussion concerning state and federal litigation; B, project art; and C, employment evaluation and reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, city administrator. If we can show Paola going into executive session, it is 9:15 PM. Council in Austin, if you can please meet in the back, I would appreciate that. on the mic on here. And let's go ahead and show Paula it's 9:48 PM and we're back from executive session. No action taken in the back. Item number 9, discussion and possible action regarding matters discussed in executive session. No action on that one. And we'll just go ahead and move on to item number 10. This is adjournment. And it is.
Mayor, I make a motion that we adjourn at this time,
I said,
9:48.
9:48 PM. I got a motion, got a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Turn your lights off.